Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tales from the Backlog, a gaming deep dive podcast. I am your host, Dave Jackson, he, him.
And I'm Leah Haydu, she, her.
And today we will be covering Kingdom Hearts. But first things first, if this is your first time here with us, here's the spoiler policy. We are not going to spoil the story of Kingdom Hearts for quite some time. Per usual, every episode works like that. Check down in the show notes for a timestamp for when spoilers begin. And until that point, you're safe if you have not played the game and you don't want to be spoiled. And if you'd like to support this show, there are a lot of ways to do that, lots of them free, such as leaving ratings and reviews on the podcast apps. If you're here on YouTube, hitting like, subscribing to the channel, leaving a comment, and you can support the show monetarily at patreon.com/realdavejackson. Now, with that being said, at the top of the show, you heard a new guest to the show. Leah Haydu is here with me. If you don't know her, she is one of the hosts of Character Issues podcast and a member of the Cane and Rinse podcast. And she's currently podcasting from the 101 Dalmatians house. Leah, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of, if you hear barking in the background here, see small animals skittering across my desk. I have one cat. I don't know where she is. She could pounce at any moment.
Probably hiding from all the Dalmatians. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, or just trying to get them in line. Like I feel like she would be the ringleader of whatever horrible mischief they get up to.
Absolutely. Well, it's great to have you here on the show. One of your co-hosts on Character Issues and Cane and Rinse, Brian's been on the show a few times before. So great to have you here, and especially for a game as special in so many ways as Kingdom Hearts is. So I appreciate you joining.
Well, I appreciate you having me. This is I am always up for a chance to babble nonsensically about Kingdom Hearts.
That's the only way to talk about it. So,
oh yeah,
the game, it is Kingdom Hearts. It's an action RPG developed and published by Square for the PS2 in 2002. It has since been ported to basically every modern system. So no matter what you're playing on, you can play Kingdom Hearts now. Some quick credits at the top of the show. The director of the game and principal art credit goes, of course, to Tetsuya Nomura. Producers are Yoshinori Kitase and Shinji Hashimoto. Writers for the game, Jun Akiyama, Daisuke Watanabe, and Kazushige Nojima. And of course, last but not least, composition credit to Yoko Shimomura. So if people don't know what Kingdom Hearts is, we have our elevator pitches for the top of the show. And funny, we do it this way because the story goes this game started from a literal elevator pitch with a Square employee and a Disney executive. So my elevator pitch for Kingdom Hearts is, if my friends are my power and Donald Duck is my friend, then Donald Duck equals power.
No, I'm pretty
Leah,
sure that
yours?
tracks.
Yeah.
Mine is, you see that Disney movie? You can go to there.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. The Elder Scrolls could never. For this recording, I played the final mix version on PC, and I did switch between PC and Steam Deck quite a bit. It took me 23 hours to get through the game. Now, I know you've played this game several times.
Oh, too many, some would say.
You've played the original. You've played, have you played the new versions too?
Yes. So I started out with the PS2 version in 2003. We've already said when this came out, 2002. So yeah, I would have been 2002 that I played it, when I would have been 21. So perfect age for getting into some Disney and Final
Right.
Fantasy. Yeah, so I bought a PS2 pretty much for Kingdom Hearts. Like that was Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy X were the ones that I really knew that I wanted to play. So that was kind of where that happened. And yeah, I've played multiple versions of this, and I own I did the math on this before, and I'm pretty sure I own at least 4 or 5 copies of Kingdom Hearts in different formats. Because I've got the PS3 remasters, the PS2 original, the PS4 remasters, and the Steam version. So, which actually does play. My most recent playthrough was on the Steam Deck.
Okay.
It was one of my games that I played on my commute to work, and yeah, it runs really well on the Steam. I mean, I guess a 2002 game. I shouldn't be surprised, but somehow I always am.
It's kind of a toss up sometimes. I mean, things that are going to run well or have like, tiny text size on the Steam Deck and stuff, but it does run quite well there. I had no issues at all. And the cloud saves worked well. So it was a good one to switch back and forth.
Nice.
So you said you got a PS2 for Kingdom Hearts. Was it? I mean, sometimes it's hard to tell. Were you really into Disney when it came out? Was it literally like the Disney Final Fantasy crossover that brought you in?
It was more the Final Fantasy than it was the Disney. Like I was, I guess, a casual Disney fan, and that's probably how I'd still describe myself, as just casual Disney fan. I'm not like going to Disney World all of the time and covering my walls in Disney, but I like Disney, and I enjoy watching the movies. I grew up with Beauty and the Beast and The Little Mermaid and all that, so it was interesting enough when I saw the art and some of the trailers and just kind of the whole experience seemed interesting enough that I needed to see like how that was good. Because I mean, I will admit that I heard the pitch at the very beginning and went, I don't know about that so much. Like Disney and Final Fantasy, that sounds like it's a kid thing.
Yep.
But by the time obviously it came out, I'd done a 180, and now I'm a Kingdom Hearts freak. So
right. And you played, like, asking someone if they've played all the games in the series is kind of weird with how many like weird mobile games there are and stuff, but have you gone through like the main stuff?
Most of them, yes.
Yeah.
There are the big thing that I have not yet played, I have not played Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which surprises a lot of people, and they should be, because it's one of those games that like I picked up and it's been sitting on my shelf since whatever year it came out. But Brian and I have had, because we did stream the first Kingdom Hearts game couple of years ago, and which is all still on YouTube if you want to go find that. Watch my expert gameplay. It's terrible. And watch me drop the controller and both of us yelling, "Yo, it's fucking Mickey," at the end. So, I've lost the Kingdom Hearts 3. Brian and I have a deal that we, when I play Kingdom Hearts 3, which will be soon, I think, he wants to stream it with me. So, we'll see how that goes.
Hell yeah.
I'm
awesome.
sure it'll be great. Sure it'll be wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, so I was, you don't often say this, but I was 14 when this game came out. And I think it's more important with this game than others because, that Disney Final Fantasy crossover pitch seems to be made for people of a certain age. And I feel like I was at the upper limit of like when I would have been excited about a Disney thing when it came out. But I've never owned a PS2 and I didn't have a PlayStation until PS4. So this was always just something I heard about from some good friends that played it and they loved it when it came out. Cause we were in that age. And then I kind of put it off ever since, I learned about emulation and then I got a PS4 and I just put it off forever because I was like, well, I'm almost 40 now. I don't really give a shit about Disney. Is this gonna have the appeal? For me, the thing that made me really most interested, two things, I guess. Final Fantasy, I'm a huge fan of the series. And I knew that there were Final Fantasy characters here. The other thing is just like, this is a game that means a lot to a lot of my friends. And since I've started the show and I now have like a fun reason to like play games that I wouldn't normally play to have fun conversations on the podcast here. I'm more interested in being like, like all my friends love this. I want to at least see what it is. I want to see how I feel about it.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main reasons I wanted to dive into it. And now that I'm done, we're on the other side. And I kind of feel like this is a game that, number one, I understand why all my friends who love it loved it. I totally get that. The Disney stuff, while I don't know that I've seen a Disney movie since I was a kid. I don't have kids. I'm not around kids. I have no real reason to watch The Lion King or Aladdin or something like that, unless, if my wife wanted
except
to, I
that they're
guess.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, they are good. Oh, that's a lie. I watched The Lion King 10 times over the course of one semester because I was teaching a unit in my English class about the hero's journey, and we watched The Lion King.
It's a good choice.
Yeah. Okay, I have watched The Lion King, notably not really in Kingdom Hearts, but the Disney stuff is like a thing where I'm not an active Disney fan, but I do, it turns out I do have nostalgia for Disney. So it hits even though it's not the way that maybe they intended for it to hit. The Final Fantasy stuff, super disappointing. We'll get into that a little bit later. If you come into this,
that kind of trickles out as the series continues also.
Yes. Even from like this starting point, which is like they could be anybody. They don't have to be Squall and Cloud and those characters, but that's disappointing. And then like the game aspect of it, pretty average to bad experience for most of it. Like it's a fine action combat system. It's a pretty bad platformer, I think.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the section in the beginning where you have to do the race to get some part of the raft.
Yes.
And oh boy, that was a whole thing because I will not accept second place in this race. So I have to keep resetting. So.
Yeah. I got absolutely smoked in that race because I didn't make it halfway through that obstacle course, and then I retried a few times, and I was like, you know what, fuck this, we need to keep the game moving along. So yeah, not great from that aspect. And then it's like kind of nice to be in the Disney worlds, but they're not good as levels. Like I'm kind of a level design freak, and these are not doing anything for me from that perspective. But the thing that surprised me the most about Kingdom Hearts is how sincere and simple and clean, if you will, the story, and you will, yes. The story of Kingdom Hearts is so like, there's all like the weird worlds and hearts and keyholes and all this Nomura bullshit, lovingly said.
Many zippers, all the zippers.
Yes, and all the zippers and the shoes and the fashion and all of that. All of that is like surrounding this like very, very sincere and nice story that like I am kind of a jaded fuck. I don't know how you couldn't be a little bit jaded with the world the way it is right now.
We're American.
Yes. And Kingdom Hearts, like, I was like, is this, story, the power of friendship, all the memes about the power of friendship and stuff, is it going to work? And like, it kind of does work for me. Like, that was one of the big surprises is I think this story at its heart is so simple, and it's so, I keep using the word sincere. I don't have a better word for it.
Yeah.
But it works.
I think you're right. It is not ironic in the slightest. And, people, some people have made it that, and some people have not. Some people take it at face value and continue to be, just pure little sweethearts. And God bless them, because I couldn't quite be me. But I do think that the intent in this game was very straightforward and very sincere, I guess.
It is the best word for it.
It really is. Now it's in my head. If you say it enough times, it starts to lose its meaning. But yeah, I think, they really do kind of keep that vibe through most of the series, I think. So if you do continue, then you've got that to look forward to. So
yeah. Well, I will be continuing.
Good.
So yeah, I'm interested, and it's interesting to me how it seems like, from what I've heard, and shout out a good friend of mine, a guest on this show, Eric, from the Unlockables podcast, has done a big long series called Guiding Keys, where he's got 50 fucking hours of Kingdom Hearts story analysis podcast, and listening to him talk about it and just how wild and all the different directions the story goes in, and all of the just I don't even know how to describe it. There aren't really simple words in English to describe how complicated the story seems to get.
I think the word you're looking for is clusterfuck.
Yeah, that is a word for sure. And it starts to do that at the end of this game. You start to get into that stuff.
Yeah.
And no matter how wild it starts to spin out, at the core of it is this like really simple thing. And the balance of those two is really interesting to me. I'm interested to talk about that probably more when we get into the spoilers in this episode. But yeah, those are kind of my top level thoughts about Kingdom Hearts. What would yours be at the beginning here?
So I think that having played most of the games in the series, I think it's kind of fascinating to go back to Kingdom Hearts 1 because everything that, as complicated and as weird and as in-depth as the story gets through the course of all of the games that have come out since the first one, like this, all of those seeds are here. Like they are starting up, but this is a story that you can kind of bullet point and say, you know, this is exactly what happens, and you don't sound like a complete psychopath. Just only partially, but I don't know. I think that it's kind of fascinating that they started there and now it's this monstrous thing that still makes sense. Like it doesn't. It takes a lot of work to see that it makes sense. It takes like whiteboards and like that Pepe Sylvia meme from It's Always Sunny. Like it's that, but you can map it all out. Like they don't just kind of hand wave some of this stuff away. Like they explain everything more than you want them to probably, but like it does. It actually makes sense. And I think that it's fascinating that it all came from two dudes in an elevator going, hey, what if we fan fictioned these two series together and just see where it goes? And it turns out where it goes is weird town.
Yeah, where it goes is everywhere. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's just really interesting to think about this as like a product of its time, which will... When we talk about music, we might loop back to this. This has some extremely early 2000s music with Simple and Clean, most notably. But this would absolutely never fucking happen in 2026. They would never cross over Final Fantasy and Disney for a game like this today.
Disney is so protective and so insular, and you wonder how they are today came from what they used to be, or you know, I mean, maybe this was, I feel like it probably was at least something of an anomaly even then, but now it really would just kind of be unthinkable.
Yeah. I remember hearing and reading some stories about how like Disney tried to strong arm Nomura into some design choices, and he was like, no, that's not what we're doing in this game.
Like,
and
no,
Nomura
he
got
will
his
have
way.
more buckles, damn it.
Yes. They said, please, sir, only one buckle per person. And he said, absolutely the fuck not.
It's a deal breaker.
Yeah, but it would just never happen that way now. Disney would get its way if there was this type of thing. Yeah, it's just a really interesting thing. So interesting. We have so many things to talk about. We should take our first music break. Let's come back. Let's start at the very beginning. Let's set up the story of Kingdom Hearts. In Kingdom Hearts, you play as Sora, who is voiced by Haley Joel Osment. Sora is a teenager who grows up on an island with his friends Riku and Kairi, and nobody else. It's just these three teenagers living on this island, from what we can tell.
I don't know where all the adults are, but
or
not here.
Well, Wakka's there. Wakka from Final Fantasy X. He's there. He's an adult. Great role model, Wakka, notably.
notable racist and
yes,
180 something video game character of all time. I don't
according
remember.
to the scientific character issues
Science.
list. Yeah,
exactly.
So Sora, Riku, and Kairi live on the Destiny Island, and they're wishing to get out and see the world someday. And they get their chance when one day their island is enveloped in darkness, and they're all transported to somewhere else that's tied in at least with the Disney universe. So Sora is searching this new world and the worlds within it, searching for Riku and Kairi with his new friends, Donald Duck and Goofy, who are on a mission for their king, Mickey Mouse. So I want to talk about the Disney stuff first. And you have the Kingdom Hearts story, and then you have the Disney world hopping kind of mini Disney stories as you go through here. I got to tell you, I don't think I'd heard Donald Duck's voice since I was a kid, and that was a real jump scare for me the first time he talked. I was like, "Oh my god, yeah." He's a lot.
I don't have a good Donald Duck impression. I wish I did, but
neither do I. I would probably blow my voice out if I tried, and we'd have to postpone the rest of this show.
Yeah, don't push that. But
yeah,
he's a little bit of a jump scare. It's. I mean, I guess I don't know what other characters. Disney characters, that is, they could have picked to be your sidekicks. Like, I feel like Donald's a pretty obvious one, and since you've already got Mickey tied up with being the king and all,
right?
I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I'm more of a casual Disney fan, so I'm not sure who like we could pull out to be, but you get a lot of Disney characters who show up in other roles and also through the other games as well. But I mean, I think these are some pretty good basic characters to have as your buddies. Mm-hmm. Donald Duck in particular, who like just heal, bitch. Would you just heal me? Just heal. That's all I want from you. Stop casting fire. Heal me.
Mm-hmm.
Or yourself. Just stop dying all the time.
Yeah, Donald Duck has a real reputation as an RPG party member, and for good reason. I understand why now.
I think we eventually on our stream had a Donald death counter because he kept getting knocked out.
Yeah, you always just kind of be like, I feel like I'm alone out here, and then you look up in the corner and you're like, oh, Donald and Goofy are dead. That's why. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The voice actors for Donald and Goofy are here. That's Tony Anselmo for Donald and Bill Farmer for Goofy, the traditional voice actors. Same with Wayne Allwine, who voices Mickey in a bunch of Disney stuff. And on down the line, it's not all of the Disney characters bring back their, most famous, iconic voice actors, but there's a lot of them.
Yeah, surprising number, I thought. Yeah. There's a few notable exceptions, but yeah, they got a significant number of the original voice actors for these characters.
Yeah, and if it's not the original voice actors, it's like they didn't get Robin Williams to voice the genie in the Aladdin level, but they got Dan Castellaneta, who does the voice for Homer Simpson. Like, he's no slouch of a voice actor. And the voice cast, if you just look at it, it's really stacked. Like, you'll see very recognizable names in there. You'll see the Disney cast. You'll see like Sephiroth is in this game. He's voiced by Lance Bass from NSYNC, which is great. I didn't check to see if this is the Mandy Moore who voices Aerith. It is. Yeah, I assumed so. Mm-hmm. So yeah, some interesting. I mean, I guess I don't think Aerith had a voice in video games.
No, I mean, if you think about the kind of the time frame, Final Fantasy X was not out yet. I don't believe
it was 1 year before this, 2001.
Okay. So had just come out, and that was the first one that really had voice acting from the Final Fantasy series. So all of the characters that they have from previous games, notably there's a bunch of 7 and 8 characters, like they didn't have voices to start with. So why not get a celebrity to play, whoever.
Another way that this game is extremely of its time, getting the pop stars to come in and voice characters. So you basically you go with Donald and Goofy, and you're hopping through these Disney worlds. That's most of the levels, the worlds that you go through in Kingdom Hearts are based on Disney movies. Like the first one is Alice in Wonderland, and then You go to, I'm going to get them out of order, but Agrabah from Aladdin. You go to the Colosseum from Hercules, and you go through these different things. And for me, I get, maybe this works better for me because I haven't seen these movies in so long. These are not like, I think if you come to this expecting something of substance from the Disney stories, like the little mini stories in each world, I don't think this game's going to give that to you. What you get is a little hit of like, hey, remember some of this stuff from the movie? And then also you get really fucking good adaptations of music, which that I think the music in the Disney levels is pretty load bearing for me to connect me to like, this is a take on Under the Sea from The Little Mermaid and stuff like that.
Yeah. The only complaint that I have about the Disney adaptations is that some of the loops can be kind of short. Like I love what they have done. I love that these are in here, and I do think that it was necessary. Like if you had just purely original music in some of the Disney levels, I don't think that it would have carried off as well. But yeah, sometimes I can only hear Under the Sea, that part, like that 3 bars of Under the Sea so many times.
Yeah, you will have that. There's I didn't check to see how many of these are like rearrangements of songs. I'm not going to recognize music from Hercules, for example, but like I notice, I remember the theme from The 100 Acre Wood and from Winnie the Pooh, and of course Under the Sea, and This Is Halloween from The Nightmare Before Christmas, and they really hit a lot of that. We're not done talking about Yoko Shimomura's contribution to Kingdom Hearts, but like I want to just like point out again, I don't think from a level design perspective these are very interesting. I don't think the stories themselves are very interesting. And for a while, I was really wondering, like, how is this going to connect to the story of Kingdom Hearts? Because for the first several Disney worlds, it's just like, oh, Alice is missing. Let's try and find Alice. And or
why
like
are we here? Yeah.
Right. And you kind of go through and you're like, okay, we did that. I don't really see how this connects to finding Riku and Kairi, which is like the main thing. It does all tie in together in like a very, honestly, like a very Disney story meets, like, it revolves around princesses in danger, like that kind of stuff. But it's fucking weird because it's Tetsuya Nomura. By the time you get there, it's Disney meets Nomura in a pretty cool way. So I had fun with that. You
don't exactly dethrone and kill God, but you're kind of close.
Well, I was going to say, if you kill God in the first game, what do you do in the further ones? And I don't want
kill
the
God
answer
again.
to that question. Yeah. Kill a different God.
Exactly.
So the Disney worlds were a little bit of a mixed bag, but we did get a bit of nostalgia, recognizing voices. Like when Iago talks in the Aladdin level, I'm like, they got Gilbert Gottfried to voice Iago again. Yeah. Really fun.
They got James Woods back for Hades. They got, like I said, we already said we didn't get Robin Williams, but lot of big name voice actors who were probably still under contract, and that's why they had to do it. But
right,
whatever.
Mm-hmm. I'll take it. Yeah, the Disney stuff needed personality. And it didn't really get it from the little mini Disney stories. It got it from the voices, and it got it from the music. So
I would say the animation is a big part of it too, because I think that, it's a PS2 game, right? But even still, I think a lot of the Disney animation holds up to a pretty high standard. Maybe not quite what the movies were, but close. If not quite there. But yeah, I think the level that I always think of is the Alice in Wonderland level, which is almost literally just a box with like trees in it. And I would say that the level design to me gets better as it goes. Like by the time you get to some of the later levels, it's more complex and it's a little bit more interesting. But like, yeah, that Alice in Wonderland level is rough. It's rough.
It's a rough one to start with for all the reasons like that we've kind of been talking about. The level design is not interesting. I think this game has a real, like, this is tied in with level design. I think this game has a real problem with signaling what you're supposed to do to progress. I would basically just find myself being like, well, the Tarzan world is made up of 4 screens. So if I don't know what to do, I guess I'll just go to the 4 screens and talk to the one character that's there to talk to and see what happens. Yeah. And then, it is pretty early, not early. Yeah. Early-ish PS2.
Yeah.
And this is one of Square's like first real full 3D action, platformer type games. That's why they made the game. They wanted to make a 3D thing, like a 3D platformer type of game. And it's just they sure were working it out. So there are more involved, more fun things as you go on. But the Alice in Wonderland one is a real rough one to start with, because it's like you said, the level design's not interesting in the slightest. I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do to progress. You get through the story there, and then it's just like, oh, well, nothing really happened. I don't know why I was here doing this. Kind of all those things that can make them a little less than satisfying.
All right, cool. Thanks, Alice. Peace out. We're going to see Aladdin now. Bye.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have the other side of this, which is the Final Fantasy tie-ins, which is the thing that I was most excited about. Of the Final Fantasy games, they have characters from 7, 8, and 10 in this game. I don't think there's anyone from 9. 7, 8, and 10.
No, you get some characters from 9 in some of the other games, but I don't think, Vivi's in 2, so I mean, I don't think that's a spoiler.
Can't wait to see my boy in Kingdom Hearts 2. Yeah.
He's great. He's wonderful.
So you got 7, 8, and 10 characters in here. And these are just, they could be any anonymous NPCs. They're just kind of like, instead of having a kind of sad and brooding NPC, we already have Squall, so we'll use Squall for
we already know the level of his sad and brooding.
Yes.
What if you could see him say whatever, but in 3D?
Yeah. And I think the story goes that they were just going to have anonymous, generic NPCs, like maybe not that mean, like they were going to have original NPCs. And then they were like, we already have characters that fit these archetypes. Let's bring in Yuffie, let's bring in Squall and Cloud and Sid and some of these characters. They have almost nothing to do with the events of the story, though, in a way that's super disappointing to me. They're there in your hub town, in Traverse Town, and you talk to them to kind of progress the story further. But when Kingdom Hearts goes Kingdom Hearts, the Final Fantasy characters are nowhere to be seen in a way that I thought was pretty disappointing.
Yeah, and I think that doesn't really get better with the progression of the series. In fact, I think that maybe it gets worse because you still see the characters in some places and in some aspects, but there are more of like the Organization 13 members and kind of the original Final Fantasy-ish characters that start showing up as opposed to the actual Final Fantasy characters.
Yeah.
And when you do, well, I mean, you already said it, but like when you do get the actual Final Fantasy characters, they're not like, they're there and they are recognizable, but they're not really story critical.
Right.
We're not going to Final Fantasy VIII world, because what would that even be? It'd just be Final Fantasy VIII.
Which
I'm
would be
okay
interested.
with. I love that.
Yeah, I would have been interested in something like that. The reason that they're there in Traverse Town is because their worlds all got destroyed by this like darkness that's, a plot thing that comes up. And it's, they don't really have a role to play in this story beyond being your friends back at the hub. It is interesting with Squall that he's like, he doesn't go by Squall. He wants you to call him Leon because he's so disappointed in himself that he couldn't stop what happened to his world, that he doesn't want to be known as Squall anymore. Like, that's something. But you have the other characters like Yuffie and Aerith, and they are just... They're just there. Yeah. In a way, as the thing that drew me in was Final Fantasy stuff. And if anyone else is like, oh boy, I can't wait to see, can't wait to see Waka and all my friends. Well, Waka's there, but
yeah, you'll see him.
You'll see him. Yeah, you will. By definition, you'll see him. Not much else. So we have the kind of the tie-ins, the crossover stuff. Let's talk about the Kingdom Hearts stuff, the original stuff in here. Now, I think we got into this a little bit in the opening thoughts here. Kingdom Hearts has a real reputation for being just this batshit insane story.
Yeah.
And I know nothing of where the series goes from here. I've just, heard people talk about it. It's gone in one ear and out the other because I have no context for any of that stuff.
Well, if you told me, I would have brought my laser pointer and my whiteboard.
Right.
I've tried to explain the story of Kingdom Hearts to people before who were not Kingdom Hearts fans, and it usually goes all right up until, I don't know, Ansem the Wise. And then it starts falling apart. It starts to
get weird from that point. I will say that I'm not super interested in the story exploding in a bunch of different realms and worlds and stuff like that. But I did like the main villain in this game. I think Ansem's pretty interesting. Sora and Riku and Kairi are so simple as characters that I can't help but just be like, yeah, you're all right. There must be a scale or a bell curve where it's if you're too simple, then you are the Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts. If you're too all over the place, then I don't know what the fuck to do with you. But Sora, you're just I know what you are, and I think I like you as a character.
Yeah, so the central kind of trio of Sora and Riku and Kairi is pretty simple, I think. Mm-hmm. It's you have the pure-hearted young boy who is going on an adventure. You have the rival best friend who might be going down the wrong path, and you have the girl.
Yeah.
And that's it. Mm-hmm. and I mean, most people are going to understand that and will see, kind of where the heart, if you will, of the story is.
And I will. Yeah.
Okay, good.
We have many of these. We have many of these ahead of us. Yeah. I wanted to get your take on something here as the person who understands the story of Kingdom Hearts.
Uh-huh. That's me.
Yes, it's certainly not me. I understand what happened in this game, but going forward, I have no idea. So this game has a lot of proper nouns in it, but as opposed to something like Final Fantasy 13, where the proper nouns are these words that I could not memorize the difference between an LC and a falsy.
I was to say, you see, the Lassie are that's another story that I know probably way too much about. I'm sorry.
I'm going to replay that game soon. I'm looking forward to it. But as opposed to a bunch of fantasy games that have these proper nouns that explain how the world works, and you're just your head is swimming with all right, what's this again? How's it relate to this other thing that's not even close to a real word that I know from real life? Kingdom Hearts' proper nouns are all the most common things, hearts, capital H hearts,
darkness.
Nobodies, darkness
is a good one. Darkness comes up a lot.
Yeah, worlds, heartless. There's this weird thing that happened when I was playing where I was I understand the concept of a heart in real life, and I understand the concept of a heart in Kingdom Hearts. But when hearts and worlds and keys and heartless and things all start mixing around, I start to lose my grasp on what is a heart actually capable of and stuff like that. Things get kind of weird as you go through the story, and it's so-and-so lost their heart, but they're still up walking around acting like they've got one, and they're not like the other people that don't have hearts. And this is where the Pepe Sylvia shit starts to go, where you're well, you see, this person, they're different. They lost their heart, but they're not like the other people who lost their heart. And here's why.
When somebody loses a heart, then they become two people, and one of them's a heartless and one of them's a nobody.
Yes.
And then it's, you see. But I think that the real key to to understanding the proper nouns in Kingdom Hearts is to learn to hear capital letters.
Yes.
Because if you can do that, then you'll actually have some kind of basis for when they're talking about just like a heart that is like the thing in your chest that's keeping you alive, and a heart, capital H, which is a thing that determines whether you're a nobody or a heartless or what. So
yes. And I got through the story, like understanding, because there's big moments that revolve around like, oh shit, this character, I thought they had a heart and they don't, a capital H heart, like stuff like that. Or they have someone else's heart. How does that work? Like there's stuff in this game that heavily deals with like, do you fully understand what a heart is? And the answer is like, you thought you did, but you don't understand the full extent of how they work and stuff like that.
The answer is,
I had less fun with that stuff in Kingdom Hearts than I have in other games that have batshit crazy stories. Like, I have more fun going through the average Kojima story with all of its insane, side things and their proper nouns. The Death Stranding proper nouns are another one, than I did with Kingdom Hearts. That stuff I just kind of let wash over me, and then I will let my Kingdom Hearts expert friends help me to understand it after the fact. But what I liked is like, even though maybe I'm not super following how this transfer of hearts, for example, how does that work? Like, I think this is a thing where you got to kind of unfocus a little bit when you start asking questions like that.
I think so. You just kind of have to go with the internal logic of the series, which things do make sense if you like in relation to each other. They may not make sense. In fact, they definitely do not make sense on just a kind of objective, like
hard science of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, like that doesn't work that well. Oh damn, we got to rank Sora. Okay, never mind. But yeah, I have a real soft spot for ridiculous shit in games, especially when they take it really seriously. That's like my favorite thing, is if a game series has its own story and it has its own logic and it has its own history, and it just really sticks to that. Like it has a Bible somewhere that it is reading from, and everything is in there and it all internally links together. I love that shit. I can't get enough of it, and this is a game that really does that. It gets weirder. It gets weirder.
I can only imagine. Yeah. So like I enjoyed going through the story to see what was happening, but when things happened like that, there was enough of a disconnect where I'm like, all right, fine. I'm going to accept that that's a real thing that can happen, whether it is in the Kingdom Hearts lore Bible or whether they're hand-waving something. I don't really care at this point. And so it was a little bit less fun of a roller coaster ride than, say, a Death Stranding, which is another one where I was like, I am not going to try and understand this straight up. I'm just on the ride for this.
Nope. I played a lot of Death Stranding and I still don't think I get it. But don't worry, Kojima has written literal novels about all of this.
Yes. And those are the dialogue conversations in Death Stranding, those novels in unaltered form. So we have that aspect of it, but returning to like that simple core of it, the heart of the series, the capital H heart of the series. I'm not going to apologize. The puns will continue.
Until morale improves. Yeah.
Yeah. The core of the series, like the core themes, the power of friendship, the differing views on like whether the core of humanity, the core of hearts is light or darkness, stuff like that. I am just not too jaded for a story like this. Yeah. Like, I enjoy a story about the power of friendship. I believe that the power of friendship, the grown-up version of this, which like we talk sugar about on a lot of shows that deal with this theme. The grown-up version of this is the power of community, and like how you, in the face of hardship, banding together with a community or creating a community or finding a community can bring great value and power in different ways. And this is just a little bit more of a kiddie, way to present that. The power of my friends are my power, literally, as Sora says in the game. And that I'm not too old or too jaded for the power of friendship. And that was a nice thing to see as we go through here, because I've played a lot of games with this as a core thing, especially a lot of Japanese RPGs where like we have a climactic moment and that line comes out almost word for word in a bunch of different things. I think it works in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that the power of friendship, along with the light versus dark theme, because I mean, what is a more stereotypical theme for any story than good versus bad, or good versus evil, or whatever you want to call it? But and you know, they pick that up and just run with it as a very earnest, very serious theme, along with the friendship, and I think it just it lands for me. And I guess that might be why so many people pick up on this. It's because it is just a very easy set of themes and set of kind of ideas and ideals to latch onto. Like, you don't have to understand everything that is going on in Kingdom Hearts. In fact, I would argue that probably nobody does, including the writers. But yeah, you don't have to get everything, because the main core of it is so clear and so obvious and works so well.
Yeah, agreed. Now, it got me thinking about this this other just way that these stories are presented. Like we've been talking about Death Stranding a little bit as a comparison piece, and Death Stranding is a lot more complicated on every level than Kingdom Hearts. Like
sure
the thematic core of Death Stranding is a lot more complicated than the thematic core of Kingdom Hearts. What I think is interesting is how fucking out there the plot of Kingdom Hearts is versus how simple its core theme is. Yeah. And it made me wonder, like, do you need to go into all the worlds and capital H hearts and keyholes and all of that stuff? Or is that like, does the difference between how complicated those two things are make it better, or does it distract from like the most important thing? I know how I feel about it, but I'll ask you first.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think that I think it does need at least some of it. It might not need to go to the complications to the extent that it does, but I think that if it stuck with just the very simple power, friendship, light versus dark stuff that it does, I think maybe it would come off as kiddie or too simplistic. And I could be wrong about that. I will admit. But I think that it needed something to make it stand out, to make it just unique, in a way that other pieces of media, not even just games, like would not have. And also it appeals to sickos like me who are like, oh my God, what have they done? Why does all of this connect and make sense in a way?
I'll agree with you if it was presented the same way it's presented in Kingdom Hearts without the complications, it would come off as more kiddie than it does right now, for sure. Because the comparison that I was thinking of is Dragon Quest, which is the Dragon Quest stories that I've experienced are very simple stories. They're kind of fairy tale-ish bedtime story type stories. They have tragedy and things like that. But at the core, Dragon Quest stories deal with very simple things. But Dragon Quest stories are presented in a more grown up, I guess, in air quotes way than the core of Kingdom Hearts is. So I think that maybe that's why Dragon Quest is so simple and sincere in the way that it is, without needing all of this complication. Like, I think maybe the core message, the power of friendship, what's most important in life, like that stuff might be highlighted by the fact that everything is so insane around the characters when they're having those moments that like you return to that thing that grounds you, which is the
contrast
your friends.
Between them.
That might be enhancing it, even if I'm not going to go search out, the 6-hour Kingdom Hearts lore videos.
I have some bookmarked if you want them. I can,
sure,
I can just send you some links.
Yeah. Although, shout out to everyone who is doing that work. And as I play through the games, I'm going to go through, like I said, on the Unlockables podcast, I'll go through and listen to my friend Eric talk about the stories beat by beat and kind of analyze them and stuff. But I'm not going to put a Kingdom Hearts lore Bible on my bookshelf back there, for example. But it may serve to enhance the core message, which is so just like it's super grounded. Like the main message of Kingdom Hearts is super grounded, which is I mean, I thought I expected it, but I didn't expect it to be so grounded when surrounded by the chaos of everything else, you know?
Well, I mean, Kingdom Hearts has a reputation, right? Like,
yeah, it does.
Definitely, if you have never played these games, but you've heard about them, almost certainly, at least part of what you've heard is these things are fucking crazy. Like, you don't, like, you think it's going to be simple. You're going in here with Disney characters and you think, oh, what a nice little game. No. Yeah, it's not that.
Yeah.
But it kind of is, but it's kind of not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, complicated.
Not complicated. The music is fucking incredible in this game. This is going to be one of my, because I always cut in music for like a bunch of different music breaks throughout these episodes because I talk so damn much. People need a little break. This is going to be a really hard one to be like, I need to pick 6 songs for this because this soundtrack is awesome front to back. You've got a bunch of original songs. You've got a bunch of reworking of classic Disney songs. And we'll start with the first song that you hear, which is the main menu theme, Dearly Beloved.
Oh, I love Dearly Beloved.
An amazing song. And it's interesting tonally compared to like we're hopping through Disney worlds and stuff like that. It's a really somber, slow song that I didn't expect. And it kind of like grounds you in this, like the story of Kingdom Hearts. Yes, there's going to be feel good moments and stuff, but like there's adversity and tragedy and things in the story of Kingdom Hearts. And you need to be ready for the fact that this is not just a theme park ride through all the Disney worlds, you know? Mm-hmm. It's a really interesting choice for a main menu song.
Yeah, I just, man, I love Dearly Beloved. I said it before. Good. It's one of my favorite, like it's almost like a save room theme from Resident Evil, you know, like it is letting you know that this space is something that you can kind of pull back and be safe and be, and not have to just be constantly on your guard. Now there's some other themes throughout, like a lot of the battle music and things that, you know, that serve different purposes. But if you are listening to Dearly Beloved, you can kind of just close your eyes and be like, oh, you know, this is nice. I like this. I'll sit here for a few minutes.
Yeah, it's very nice. Maybe you've just finished a batshit insane story cutscene and you've backed out to the main menu before shutting the game off. And Dearly Beloved is like, hey man, recenter before you go back to the real world.
Decompress a little bit.
Yeah, really good song. We could probably spend an hour talking about how different songs are awesome. I think Yoko Shimomura is really good at a bunch of different things, obviously, but every game that I play that she does the soundtrack for has this ridiculous fucking earworm that will never leave my head. The Alice in Wonderland song from Kingdom Hearts got stuck in my head, and it replaced Beware the Forest Mushrooms from Super Mario RPG, which had been in there for about 5 years at this point.
That'll happen.
Yeah, she's really good at making these like super catchy, earwormy type songs. And then the whole spectrum of like Disney rearrangements and sad and somber songs and kick-ass battle music. And you go to like some mysterious places late in the game, like the Hollow Bastion, and the music in there is just so fucking good.
Yeah.
this is a game that begs me to be better at talking about music, I feel like, but this I knew the soundtrack was good, but I didn't know how good it was. Like, this is an all-time great soundtrack.
I mean, it would have been so easy, I think, to just kind of hand wave the music for this, because, you know, you do have already music from all of these different films, and you could have just, like, taken very simple copies of those, and they don't really do that. Like, they are arrangements. They are different than what you might hear in the actual movie soundtrack, and along with all of the original music. So yeah, I am also not notably great for talking about music, but I do think that that there's a lot to love here. And we didn't even mention Simple and Clean, which,
oh right, yes,
I have a sick love for. Like, is this a cheesy J-pop song? Kind of. But is it great? Yeah, it is. I'm not gonna say I'm sorry for that. It is.
When I heard that, because I'd heard Simple and Clean before playing the game, like, kind of hard to be as into video games as I am and not hear that song at some point. And I'm not going to put it in the episode because this is probably the most copyright strike.
I was going to say that would probably
song
be
of all
tough.
time.
Understood, but look it up if you haven't heard it.
Look it up, folks. It's out there. Simple and Clean. It is a very like early 2000s like girl group pop song type of thing. And this is one of the things where I'm like, I don't like this kind of music anymore. If you caught me in 2002, yes, I would have been into it. It's also, I'll go into more specifics in the spoiler section, but you hear the song twice in the game. You hear it at the beginning and you hear it at the end. And the way that it gets integrated into the end of this game is fucking bananas to me. Yeah. It's an insane time to drop a pop song, in my opinion. We'll talk about that later. I'm not mad at Simple and Clean. It could have been one of my, like, Dave's going to be a hater for a minute and be like, actually, Simple and Clean kind of sucks. But no, it's a catchy song. I kind of like it, but it is one of those where I'm like, it's just not even close to the type of music I want to listen to anymore.
I mean, this was a year before Final Fantasy X-2.
Yeah.
And Final Fantasy X-2 is a game of that kind of music. So,
and I love the songs in Final Fantasy X too.
Me too.
So am I a hypocrite? Yes, probably, but
what are you gonna do? Listen, you like what you like, and I enjoy both Simple and Clean and the Final Fantasy X-2 soundtrack.
Yeah.
Quite a lot.
Do you have any other like standouts from the soundtrack? Just like, if I say what's your favorite Kingdom Hearts song, is that an impossible question, or does something jump to mind?
I mean, it would probably be Dearly Beloved, honestly, but but aside from that, I mean, gosh, I think I like, I don't know the names of the tracks, but the music from Hollow Bastion I really like a lot. So it's probably that, if it's not Dearly Beloved.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Halloween Town theme, but that's just kind of the Halloween Town music. Like, there's not a whole lot to that that's original, unfortunately. But
I guess we should say, if people don't know, the rearrangements of the Disney songs don't have vocals, so they're just kind of they bring the vocal melody into the arrangement with other instruments. Mm-hmm. I do like the Halloween Town one a lot. I like the Gummi Ship theme. I don't like flying the Gummi Ship, but the music is very pleasant, so that takes some of the edge away, I guess.
Flying the Gummi Ship, not great. Building the Gummi Ship, that's where the action is.
Okay.
If you haven't seen mine and Brian's playthrough, we created a true monstrosity, and it's beautiful.
Fucking Star Destroyer of a Gummi Ship.
It has like a hand on the top of it. I don't know. It's not a holy thing. It is in fact unholy.
Mm-hmm. So I guess that's our cue to start talking about what it's like to play Kingdom Hearts. And so we mentioned the Gummi Ship. We might as well just kind of keep going on that.
Sure.
You do spend quite a bit of time going through Gummi Ship sections when you travel from world to world until you unlock the fast travel. And always, if you're going to a brand new place, you have these Gummi Ship sections. And first of all, very disappointed these are not made out of like gummy bear material like I thought they would be.
That is disappointing.
They're just blocks. There's a weird lore explanation for what they're made of. It's Yeah, it's
I don't
weird.
even think I know that one, but I believe it.
Yeah.
100%.
It's in one of Ansem's logs that you find and you can read. Yeah. So these are rail shooter segments like a Star Fox or something like that.
Yeah.
Where you fly from planet to planet, you shoot a bunch of ships down, or enemies or space blobs, or fly through rings and you shoot down weird rectangles and you collect more items and stuff like that. I get wanting to turn space or interworld travel into something.
Sure.
And if you really get into like customizing the Gummi Ship, I guess you'd be like, I want to try the hardest ones and try and get a high score. But I was just like, I'm going to put a couple extra cannons on my Gummi Ship and then I'm never touching the fucking garage ever again.
So I appreciate that you don't really have to go into too much detail or too much depth with these, because if it was a situation where like you have to build this Gummi Ship to these specifications or you just don't get to unlock the next world, that would make me really upset.
Yeah, it would be bad. Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't. It's like you said, you can go through these kind of levels or these stretches of space multiple times if you want to, or you can just pretty much use the default ship for the entire thing, or you can build a ship that should not exist and use that, and that's also fine.
An absolute affront to God and everything
really
that's holy. I'll have to look up what your ship looked like. Mine was just like a couple blocks extra in either direction from the default.
And see, that's what I usually do. But for some reason, we just got super into building something bad. But it is kind of neat that they gave you Chip and Dale as your little garage boys to help you. I like that. I thought that was a good integration.
Yeah, it was cute. The other thing with the Gummi Ship is like, so the actual parts where you're in space shooting, they're fine. They're not hard. It's just like, blow some shit up, let your lizard brain enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
The game gives you Gummi Ship parts as rewards for stuff all the time, like for exploring or for making story progress sometimes. And I think that sucks because, as we've said, most of the time you play, and then when I played, I don't care about the garage. I'm not motivated by building a Gummi Ship, and it doesn't require, like you said, they're not hard enough to make you want to get in there and do it unless you're just a customization freak. So it's like you get this new cannon for your Gummi Ship when you open a treasure chest and you're like, I would have rather gotten a weapon for Donald. Like he's fucking dying out here, or some armor for Donald or something like that. So that kind of sucks
for Donald. Just put him in one and add the world around.
Right. We should talk about that. So the combat in Kingdom Hearts is action, hack and slash. You run around. You have a menu that's up at all times, and the default position on the menu is attack. So you press X and you will attack as Sora. You always control Sora, and then you have your party, which is usually Donald and Goofy. Sometimes you have other characters, like in the Tarzan level, Tarzan will join you, and you can swap Tarzan in for a character like Donald can go sit down.
Let's say Donald.
For example, yes. Not pointing any fingers, but yeah, hypothetically Donald. So you can set up behavior mode for them. I didn't find that to be very useful. I was just basically like, I'm taking care of most things, and if I look over and Goofy is like strong arming someone with his shield, I'd be like, look at you, buddy, good for you. But they're not equal to you as far as their contribution to combat.
No. They will. I think that the most useful part of them doesn't really come until some of the later games when you can. Well, actually, I take that back. There are some spots in Kingdom Hearts 1 where you get the Trinity actions, where you need them in order to do certain stuff. But that's not even combat. That's just that's just out of combat kind of exploration stuff.
I like those. I wish that you didn't need Donald and Goofy to do them, because I would always find them when I had somebody else in my party.
Yep.
But I guess it encourages you to go back to old levels with your party once you've unlocked new stuff. So in combat, you run around, you have the action combat, and then you select items and spells from the menu. There's also hotkeys for spells. I don't know if this is new for the final mix version. Was this in the original one where you could like hold a shoulder button and use spells quickly?
I think it was, but honestly, I'm not sure. It's been a while since I played the original version. So
that's fair. So you don't have to go through the menu for literally everything that you want to do. The result is like something that feels to me like a proto Final Fantasy VII remake type combat.
Yeah, very much so, actually.
Yeah. The only difference is that the action doesn't freeze or like super slow down in Kingdom Hearts when you bring up menu stuff. So there's a lot of scrambling through menus to try to use the right items sometimes when you're like, I have 1 HP left and I just used a Mega Ether. Fuck. Okay. Hopefully I don't get hit again.
Hey, maybe Donald will heal. Oh, nope. He's dead.
He's been dead for 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you can give your party members items and tell them, hey, use these items if I'm hurt. But in my experience, that does not really work, because what'll happen is like you'll be in a fight and you'll lose like 5 health, and they'll use a potion or they'll use a mega elixir or something.
Yeah.
And they just they do not have a good rhythm of when to use these items.
Yes.
And your control of them is not granular enough to say like, well, I'm thinking of Final Fantasy 12 here, where like
I was thinking of that too. Yeah, this is no gambit system.
It really isn't. And I don't even think it needed to be, but it needed to be a little bit better than it is, I think, if you wanted them to actually be able to effectively use items when they're
the strategy is like you have to make sure they don't have any items on them until right before the battle where you need them to have items. Otherwise, they're going to blow through that shit the first chance they get.
Like, you might want to give them a couple of potions before a boss fight, but not anywhere else.
Right. Actually, this might mean that Donald and Goofy are enlightened RPG gamers because they don't hoard all their best items for the end of the game. They actually use them, which is something I aspire to. So maybe they're onto something there. But
it's just foolish. Everyone knows you never use an elixir.
Never. Otherwise, they are like okay in combat. They will chip away at enemies, and then sometimes I'll look over and I'll see like one of them has killed something, and I'm like, that's cool. What most often happens though is for example, Donald will use all of his magic power within the first 5 seconds of a fight, and then he's just run around hitting stuff with his staff, not doing much, and then he's dead. And I think they come back to life after a certain amount of time in this game.
Yeah, I think they have like a little timer on them, because they don't die, they like get knocked out,
right?
And they'll just they will automatically come back after the fight is finished. But I think you're right. I believe they also will come back after a certain amount of time in the fight itself as well.
Yeah, because I remember being in like the final boss, and like Donald and Goofy died real quick. And then I'm fighting for my life out here. And then I look over, it's like, oh shit, Donald's alive. Okay, cool. Heal me. And then it's like, now he's doing his own thing again.
Yeah, no, he's dead again. By the time you notice that he's alive, he has already died.
Right. Question for you, because you've played this multiple times. At the beginning of this game, they give you a choice of like, pick a weapon and choose something to sacrifice. So you get to choose like, do I want to spec more into magic power or more into attack or more into defense or something like that? How big of a difference does that actually make in how you end up playing? Do you know?
Yeah, so as I understand it, it only really matters early on. It kind of affects your starting stats by a little bit, but it doesn't, it's not a long-term thing. Like, you will not screw yourself over for magic completely if you choose the sword,
right?
Which
is what I
always
did.
Choose the sword. Yeah.
It's
every game does this. You will get that scene in all of them.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I kind of figured like I'm gonna have to attack stuff. I'm picking the sword. I think the combat system is interesting in the amount of like skills and spells and stuff that they give you, that are like the spells are better use in different situation type thing, where I kind of like that. If you figure out that this enemy is weak to ice, use an ice spell, like, and they're not just gonna tell you. Sometimes they're color coded, but a lot of times they're not. You get a cool spell called Gravity later on that's like, I can use this in a real like strategic way that I think is neat. But I kind of think that everyone's going to go through Kingdom Hearts and use a magic spell when they feel like they have big utility, but otherwise you're smashing with the Keyblade.
Yeah, I mean, if I don't know, I feel like if you have maybe played it before, you might be more willing to experiment a little bit with magic, but honestly, I never found it to be that big of a deal. This was, I think, when I very first played Kingdom Hearts, it was kind of the first time I'd ever really played something like this before, just in its structure and in its battle system. I was used to my RPGs being turn-based.
Yeah.
And this was, something obviously quite different. And I think it's more difficult to work magic into that kind of system sometimes. Like it does work. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I think it can be trickier, especially if you're not used to that kind of thing, to make it more effective.
Mm-hmm. You do have like a defensive spell and you have a healing spell. There's not like a ton of different stuff, but there's different situations. I did use the healing spell
because Donald fucking wouldn't. So
yeah. use the air spell to up your defense so that you can survive when Donald doesn't, and and stuff like that. What do you think about like just kind of like the feel of the combat system as you're kind of scooting around, swiping with the Keyblade? You get a bunch of different skills that like have contextual use to them. You can do stuff in the air. You've got your spells and stuff. Does it feel good? Is it satisfying when you play it?
Yeah, for the most part. And I do think that there are maybe some situations, especially when you're still kind of getting used to how it works, that it can be a little tough. But I think that it does, like, the mobility is really nice. And I think that this is something else that I feel like gets better with the games as they go on. But here it is still good. Like, they started off from a pretty strong position in this game. So yeah, A+. Yeah. Well, maybe not an A+, maybe like an A-.
Okay. I think I'm a little cooler on it than you are. The middle of the game was the most fun for me. Like the more, it was like I have a bunch more stuff at my disposal. I have a dodge roll. I have my parry move. I have multiple spells to pick from. I have some other Keyblade skills that's like, I need to get behind this enemy to attack them. I have a skill that will like kind of put me through them and come out on the other side like that. Those stuff start to unlock and you start to see the complexity of it. I don't like when this game gets difficult. Like the difficult boss fights are really not that fun for me. There's a real, I might just be getting old, but there's a real like attack comes out too fast for me to know it's coming sometimes with some of these bosses. And you have your defensive moves. If you attack at the same time an enemy attacks, you'll kind of bounce off and you'll get some bonus points that I was never clear on what they do, but I like getting points, so that's fine.
I think the tech points are just extra XP. Honestly.
Okay.
I think. Now, again, who knows really, but
maybe call them XP if that's what they are. Like, but fair enough. So you get that if you attack at the same time, but it's like I have to line up my attack swing with the attack that I just said was too fast for me to do that with. So it's like that happens by accident.
I found that too, mostly.
Yeah. And then you get a block skill, which you like, it's the same button as your dodge roll. So you can't be moving or you'll dodge roll. But if you just press the button, you'll kind of put your Keyblade up and then take it away. It's not a hold to block.
Like it's more of a parry.
Yeah, it's a timing thing. And I could never figure that out. I was like looking in guides and they were like, because there's a couple of boss fights that really kicked my ass. And I was like, I'm going to check a guide. And they're like, oh, they have this attack. If you block, you can reflect this thing back at them. And I'm like, that's not going to happen. It's just straight up not going to happen.
Yeah. I think it can be, you can set up your kind of array of attacks and defenses to your own specifications a little bit, because something we haven't mentioned is that you only have a certain number of AP action points to like actually equip these abilities that you're unlocking. And by probably the midpoint, if not the later portions of the game, you have enough of this AP to pretty much equip whatever you'd want. But especially early on, you do have to make some choices about that. And I think I might have eventually just taken off the block skill and just used the dodge roll.
Just it's not happening.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and you can do that. Like, you can sacrifice or put aside, if it's not much of a sacrifice for you, some of the skills that you unlock in order to put on more of the stuff that will be beneficial to you. So that's a nice touch, I think.
Yeah. So there's like these things about the combat system that are really cool in theory, and in execution, they just like, there's things that I just really had trouble using to the full extent of their ability, like the block, like the the parry, for lack of a better word for it, you know, that stuff. So in the middle section of the game, you have this nice combination of like, things aren't too hard, the bosses are still like a decent challenge, and you have a bunch of skills to kind of build for, like, I would really like to have that skill that adds like a big fuck off attack to the end of my combo. Like, that would be cool. So I'll spend my points on that, and I can't block, so I'm kicking that out of the skill set. That's kind of neat. The other thing about this that kind of made me get a little more tired of the combat, even if it feels okay to play, is there's so much combat in Kingdom Hearts.
There's a lot.
It has random encounter type energy to the amount of fighting that you're doing. And I know it's not random. The Heartless spawn in at specific points in each level, but you crisscross the levels a lot, and it feels like every time you go through a door, they reset. And so it's like,
I think that's accurate.
Yeah. Traverse Town, where I'm like, I'm going around, I'm like looking for side quests and stuff like that. I just feel like I'm always fighting something in Traverse Town, and start to really be a pain in the ass. And
It's tough, because like, you want to be able to, I feel like this is something that a lot of RPGs maybe struggle with, in that, like, you want to be able to grind if you need to. So you have to have at least some places where things are going to respawn, but having it respawn everything when you are like just trying to, like you said, do side quests or go back and forth for shopping or whatever you are looking at, it can get frustrating, especially for like lower level things that you know aren't even giving you anything if you do fight them.
You can run past them, like it doesn't lock doors until you fight them and stuff, but like they're always popping up. And if you do want to fight them, because it's like, you know, like you said, you're playing an RPG. Maybe I'm not trying to grind, but I'm trying to stay on the level curve. So I gotta fight stuff. The Heartless come in waves and waves and waves and waves and waves. I remember I forget what the real name of it is, but like the oddities shop in the Traverse Town, the one next to the Dalmatian house.
I don't remember what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's like, I found this building with a bunch of weird like elevators and levers and shit. I want to see what's going on in there. And it just, combat is like, it's never fucking ending in there. And so by a certain point, I never found out what that place is. I was just like, I'm tired of being in here because I don't want to fight 8 waves of enemies every time I come in. So like if that's happening, and I feel like combat is either too simple in the early game or too hard in the later game when more advanced Heartless start to come in, it starts to really grind down my opinion of a combat system that, like, I think is generally okay.
Yeah.
But if I'm like in wave 9 of Heartless in this random room, I'm like, fuck this. Like, let me just, you know, so yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it would have been nice to have something like either for them to scale with you, or maybe like once you've cleared out something of at a certain level, then they don't come back. Or I don't know what the solution is. I'm not a game designer, but the
lore reason would be if you close the keyhole, then the Heartless shouldn't come back. But they're, you know, They do that in some places, but not all.
Darkness is everywhere.
Yes.
Darkness, heart darkness.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you there, but yeah. One thing I do think is cool is there are quite a few boss fights that have like really impressive scale to them in this game. Like, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, most of them are Disney movie related, even if I didn't recognize them as such at the time. But like they do introduce some things like in the Peter Pan level, you eventually learn to fly. In the Little Mermaid level, you're swimming. So like you introduce this like extra layer to movement where you just go anywhere up in the air. They're effective. They're the same thing, swimming in that level or flying in Peter Pan. They're the same, but it adds like an extra layer to some of these fights to be able to literally fly out of the danger zone, swoop back in, get a few hits in. Like in practice, it's pretty clunky, but like the idea of it is there. The scale of it is there. There's some boss fights that I remember thinking like, if I played this when I was 13, it would have been the coolest fucking thing I'd ever seen in a video game. Like that kind of stuff. The
Ursula fight is one that I think about a lot as being something that I don't think I'd really seen before, because it's like you said, you are swimming, but she grows to be just this giant version of Ursula, and you have to kind of fly up to her, and you can only hit her in certain places. And since she's so big, like the attacks that she's throwing at you are tougher to dodge, and you kind of have to work on that while you're getting up close. And it's interesting, and I think it's more fun than just giving you some dude in an arena, which they do. I mean, there are dude in arena boss fights for sure, but there's also some of these more interesting ones that I like.
You fight plenty of dudes with swords in RPG tradition. But
did you try to fight Sephiroth? Because he's a bitch.
Hell fucking no, I didn't. I remember, so they have the arenas in the Hercules world, and I did the first 3 of them that were level appropriate for like going to the end of the game. And then I remember checking like, I started the Hades Cup, which is this like 50 match long thing. And I got my ass kicked by Yuffie in like match 4 of it. And I was like, all right, what recommended level do people have? And they're like, you should be level 80. And I'm like, I'm level 45. I'm not doing this. So no, I did not do Sephiroth, but I've heard that Sephiroth is a big and perhaps unfair challenge.
Yeah, I have defeated Sephiroth before, but I'm pretty sure it was like I had been grinding for a long time and may have been level capped. So, and even then, like he has attacks that will take you to 1 hit point, and he's very fast and very strong. So it's a hard fight.
Yep. Not for me. I really don't. I don't like when this game tries to get really difficult. Like the boss fights that get difficult either have things that come out really fast, or there were several boss fights where I'm going around and I'm like, I'm dodging all the attacks, but I don't know how I'm supposed to get in there and do damage myself. So it's the balance of it is, and it's often in those ones that have like the really cool giant scale to them, where you're flying or swimming or something like that, where I'm like, I appreciate this on some level, but like, what am I supposed to be doing here?
Yeah, there's like one way that you can get in there and do damage, and they don't telegraph it very well. So if you're not looking at some kind of guide, then you might be in for a rough time.
Or this is another part of the system that reminded me of Final Fantasy VII Remake, the summon system, where you can summon in various Disney characters to help out in combat. And by various Disney characters, I mean you summon Tinkerbell because she's the fucking MVP of this entire game. So that's how I got through those no window of attack type boss fights. Summon Tinkerbell and just tank damage and let her take care of it. So. Yep. Yeah. There is also a good deal of platforming in Kingdom Hearts, and this is one of the more unfortunate things about the gameplay side of this game.
Yeah, it's not great.
Not great. Nope. It feels very unpredictable whether you are going to get on the thing you're trying to get onto. That's the basis of my problem with the platforming.
In theory, Sora will grab the ledges and pull himself up.
Mm-hmm.
In theory.
Yeah.
In practice, I don't know. How's he feeling that day? He feeling like grabbing a ledge?
Yeah.
What do you think, buddy?
Agreed. Or if it's like, I'm up here, I need to jump on this single platform down there. And I jump down and I'm like, I made contact with the side of that thing. I should be on it. And you just slips right down, like that kind of stuff. Have you ever played Psychonauts?
Yeah.
This game reminded me so much of Psychonauts.
I could see that.
In another game, not a good platformer. It is more competent than Kingdom Hearts platformer.
I would argue it's better than that.
Another game, it's actually kind of, I started to think about this and it was like, you're hopping through these different worlds with these characters and you're doing pretty bad platforming and you're doing pretty average action combat with magic and everything's super creative and the music is great and the voice acting is awesome. Like thinking about I played Psychonauts somewhat recently, so it's kind of on the brain, but
yeah. When did Psychonauts come out? I don't actually know.
Oh, it was like 06 or something.
05.
05, yeah.
Very close, yeah. So, yeah, maybe they took inspiration from Kingdom Hearts. I don't know.
This is an interesting thing to think about. Like, games that are this famous usually have games that copy from them. And maybe Psychonauts took inspiration from Kingdom Hearts, but I can't really think of anything else that did. I mean, maybe combat-wise a little bit.
Yeah, but like the whole central conceit of it being this combination of two IPs that you wouldn't expect to be mushed together like that. I don't know that that's ever really happened again that I can think of.
Yeah, probably. I mean, certainly not to like the extent of the full series of Kingdom Hearts. Like,
yeah,
and they would probably do that shit as a Marvel Rivals like live service thing now because that's where the money
almost
is.
Certainly.
Yeah. So, is there anything else about the kind of experience of playing Kingdom Hearts that we haven't touched on? You think?
Well, we kind of mentioned this before, but I did want to bring up again that I feel like there are some places where it's really not clear what you need to be doing.
Yeah. 100%.
And I'm going to reference Brian's and my playthrough again, because we went through a bunch of stuff and weren't really even sure where we needed to go next. And it turned out that in Monstro, the whale, we just hadn't gone far enough. So we had missed the final boss of that area. And that was there wasn't really anything pointing me there. It was just, you don't have anywhere else to go. You got to find out what's happening. So yeah, it can be a little bit obscure at times. I think that's, I don't want to make the excuse that it's like normal for the time, but I think that might be a little bit of it. Like just that it was not as normal to kind of be signposting things quite as clearly. In
3D environments, because this is a real 3D world. It's not, fake 3D stuff. I will say they were probably figuring it out on the fly with stuff like that. I do think this is terrible, and I shouldn't need a walkthrough to figure out what to do in a level that has 4 screens or 4 rooms, But it was like the Tarzan level was the thing that really got me, like after the Alice in Wonderland, where I spent some time. That Alice in Wonderland level has legitimately 3 screens. So it's like, I didn't have to go too far to figure out what to do. The Tarzan level was the one where it was like, I need to go to this area and then I need to go back here and I need to go into the tent and talk to the person. And they say like, go do this. And I'm like, I don't know where that is or what that involves, but I guess I'll go check out the other 4 screens and see what happens.
Yeah.
And it gets a little bit better later on as the levels get more linear. And they stop being like, if you can imagine like a cross of like a room in the middle and then on any side of them, like the whale level, it's a straight line. And if you miss the door though, like that's cause it's, it's not right there. I definitely get that. They do have a real signposting problem.
Yeah, and like we were talking about before, given that everything respawns all the time, always, it can be frustrating to try and figure your way out through these things, because every time it's not just okay, I'm gonna go and look around here. It's okay, I'm gonna go and look around here, and then I go into another room and I come back and everything's back again. So
and 8 waves of Heartless later. What door did I come from, and which door am I supposed to go through? Yeah, that stuff happens for sure.
Yeah.
So I said at the top, it's a real mixed bag as a play experience for me. The combat feeling, like as decent as it does, is the thing that's like, I would have fucking hated this game if the combat was like really bad and you did as much of it as you do. But like you can there is a lot of fun to be had in the combat, and that's good because of how much of it you do. And I've heard that the platforming kind of takes less of an importance in later Kingdom Hearts games. So
for the most part, I would say,
or maybe it gets better.
Yeah, it's less bad. So take that as you will, I guess.
Fair enough. So before we get into spoilers for Kingdom Hearts, is there a particular person, it's an interesting question for the year 2026 when we're recording this, is there a particular person that you would recommend play Kingdom Hearts in this day and age?
That is a tough one, because like, if you haven't already played Kingdom Hearts, then I'm not sure you want to play Kingdom Hearts. Now, I could be wrong about that, because, I mean, you've played Kingdom Hearts recently for the first time, and it sounds like it was a broadly positive experience. So, you know, I will not commit to nobody should play this for the first time. I think that if you are going to play it for the first time, though, that you need to go in with your expectations set properly. So maybe that's my answer. Maybe the person who I would recommend this to is somebody who has a tolerance for older games, and who just kind of enjoys seeing the historical side of things, as weird as that sounds, because this is an important game. I don't think we can really deny that. And if that's something that interests you, even if you're not super into the game itself, then I think you could maybe get something out of it.
I make recommendations like that all the time. So I totally agree that if you are interested in playing, you know, if there was a hypothetical list of like the 100 most important games of all time, Kingdom Hearts is for sure on that list. So
I think so.
If you value playing playing the games that mean a lot to gaming history, playing the games that mean a lot to a lot of people, like the Kingdom Hearts is a lot of people's favorite game series. And if you want to see why, like, try it out. And then also, you know, there are good things about this. I think the story is nice and the music is fucking great and the combat is okay enough. And well, you would certainly have a less interesting time with a lot of, quote, you know, better games, to steal something from someone said on one of my recent shows. So I basically think if you think you're interested in trying Kingdom Hearts, then I think you should try it. If you're like, I don't give a fuck about Disney, I don't give a fuck about Final Fantasy, then I don't think that the other parts of the game are going to carry enough.
Yeah, this probably isn't going to change your mind.
Yeah. So, but I think there's a lot of people, especially, you know, people my age or older or similar, you know, who like, yeah, maybe you're not dying to see the next Disney movie that comes out anymore, but do you think you have nostalgia in your heart for Aladdin or The Little Mermaid or Nightmare Before Christmas? Like that stuff might do something for you, as it did for me. So I think, like you said, broadly positive. That's where I am with Kingdom Hearts. It's a game that's very mixed in a lot of different ways, but I come out of it being like, it's neat. I'm going to play Chain of Memories at some point. I'm going to continue this. So
Chain of Memories is a very different game.
Yeah, I have the gotta go in order brainworm. So there's
me too.
There's no way I would possibly
completely
skip
it. No, I definitely not saying you should. I'm just saying different.
Very different.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, so before we get into spoilers, some quick housekeeping. We always start with the guest and the work that they do. So, as I said at the top of the show, Leah is a part of Character Issues podcast, which if you listen every week on the show, Leah's co-host Brian was just here a couple weeks ago for the Seance of Blake Manor episode. But now it's your turn. Tell people about Character Issues and, of course, Kane and Rince.
Cool. So Character Issues is a show that I record with Brian Edwards and Rich Davison, who both are also on the Kane and Rince podcast, where I guess we all met there and decided that, oh, hey, these people are the same type of weird as me. We get along. So Character Issues is a show where we rank all of the video game characters who have ever existed scientifically, and our list is at, I think we're at 185, 186 right now characters on the list, ranging all the way from Sephiroth at number 1 to Chadley at the bottom of the list, where he will always stay. Long may he rot in hell. Yes. So that is Character Issues podcast. We're on all of the platforms and the social medias and such. Kane and Rince is the other show that I do with those two, and also a whole cadre of weirdos and freaks and cool people. But we every week take one video game and do a deep dive in it with a crew that rotates of usually 3 or 4 people, depending on the game. And the most recent podcast that I recorded for that was actually with Rich, Mother 3. So that'll be out on the feed pretty soon. But yeah, Brian and I are what I lovingly call podcast sluts. So we're on a lot of shows because that's just what we do. Yeah. Rich is still pretending that he has a life, so he's not on as many, but he did host the Mother 3 show and did a fantastic job. So nice. Yeah, it's good times. If you like listening to people bloviate about video games and video game characters, then look us up. Yeah,
absolutely. By the time this episode is out, the Mother 3 episode, kind of knowing your cadence over there, should be out soon, if not recently.
It'll probably be on the Patreon, but I don't know exactly when this is coming out, but it'll probably be on the Patreon, if not on the regular feed.
Right. So something to look forward to. But Kane and Rince has been going forever, so there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of episodes to go check out. I
think we're in the 600s, I think.
Issues.
Maybe
Leon.
The 700s. Issues. Oh yes, thank you. Leon would have my hide if he heard me say that.
Yeah. I told you before we started recording, but this podcast would not exist in this form, at least, without Kane and Rince. So I really appreciate the work that you do over there. You and the whole crew. Give yourself some credit. Like the one of the things about making Tales from the Backlog was I want to have conversations like they have on Kane and Rince, as I was a regular listener and still am. So really good stuff. If people haven't checked it out, please go check that out. And then Character Issues is where you and Brian and Rich show a little different side of yourselves. And it's more of a comedy show, but still good discussion to be had.
Deadly serious science happening there.
The science is foolproof, bulletproof science.
It is.
I was just talking with Brian. I'll ask you the same question. Will Chadley be challenged if you decide to rank Hitler from the Persona game?
Probably not. I think Chadley's pretty solidly all the way down there. We have had discussions about ranking Hitler before.
Yeah.
Like, this is a real video game. I mean, he's been in more than one video game.
Yeah,
that's true. Mecha Hitler, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It's not a conversation that I think we're going to be having soon, but it could happen, is all I'm saying.
Well, you all are going to rank every single character, so you'll get there eventually.
Eventually, yes.
Yeah. Good stuff. And then I'll just throw this out there. You all started doing a bi-weekly news recap show, which I really, really enjoy. And I don't go seeking out news podcasts.
It is the, so we record Character Issues every other week. And on the off weeks, we record the Character Issues News Network for News, which is a show where we take a few, 3 of the week's biggest stories and spout off our opinions about them. So we've all been following this hobby for quite some time, so I think we have some interesting things to say most of the time. Sometimes it's just us yelling. I mean, both things can be true.
Sometimes the news just brings that out of us. Sometimes that's all you can do.
True.
So
listen, frequently in my case.
Well, really good stuff between the two shows, Character Issues and Cane and Rinse. And so, as always, down in the show notes, you'll find links to those things so everyone can go check those out. And again, great stuff. Well worth your time. As the music is playing probably during the spoiler break, go find something to listen to. So with that being said, the only plug that I haven't done yet is the Discord server for the podcast is public, open, and full of friendly people who would like to talk video games with you, whoever you are. If you would like to join, feel free. We'd love to have you in there. And link is down in the show notes for the Discord as well. And with that being said, it is time to take our spoiler break. And when we come back, we're going to do full spoiler time and invite the chaos in for Kingdom Hearts. Before we get to full spoiler time for Kingdom Hearts, I'd like to say thank you to the patrons who help support the show. A big hearty thank you and shout out goes out to Chris Nelson, Zelgeek, Chris Copleen, Rick Firestone, Nick Vicori, Soccer, Cupcake, Kyle, Christian S., Matt aka Stormageddon, JD, Doug Leaf, Jason Emery, Brian Skirsha, Jenny E., Marcus O'Neill, Stefan, Drellish, Rigamort, Silcanet, Levi, John E., Aliasi, Aaron, Squill, Alan Kress, Doug T., Retro Overdrive, One of Many Tots, Magic Crow, Curly Bright, Ian L., Steve Yeager, Trash Dog Actual, Delaney and Jack McBride, Ethan Young, Michael Lassen, Michael Matuzak, Keith B., A Quack a Day, and many more. Thank you all for your support. It means a lot to me and it helps out in a lot of different ways. If anyone out there would like to join them and throw me a few bucks a month to help out, you can do so at patreon.com/realdavejackson. Now, with that being said, let's get back to full spoiler time for Kingdom Hearts. All right, we're back. It's full spoiler time for Kingdom Hearts now, and the usual disclaimers, they need to be said maybe with a little more emphasis in Kingdom Hearts than with other games.
There's so much story.
There's so much, and we are not going to talk about all of it. And I have not made it the goal of this podcast to be the definitive explainer of Kingdom Hearts. I'm going to talk about my experience with the story. I'm probably going to fuck up some lore, and that is because I'm a normal person. And I have played this game once, and I've thought about it quite a bit, but I don't know everything about it. I'm going to get some stuff wrong. That is the way the show works in the spoiler sections specifically. And the other thing is, this is not going to be a linear walk through the story of Kingdom Hearts. We might talk about things at the end of the game quickly. So if you are halfway through the game, thinking about going back, do go back and finish it before you listen to this spoiler section. So with that being said, we'll start with something on the easy side. Let's talk about those Disney worlds and favorites or least favorites, perhaps. Leah, what jumps to mind when I say that?
Yeah, so I think if it counts as a Disney world, I would say Hollow Bastion is probably my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I think it counts because they're kind of doing a Beauty and the Beast thing, and right. Beauty and the Beast is my favorite Disney movie.
Okay.
So I think that was an easy pitch for me. It's also kind of more involved and a little bit darker, just in tone than a lot of the other worlds. So that's appealing to me. Least favorite, I think I would probably say I would probably say the Alice in Wonderland world, actually, just because it's very simplistic, and I don't like how it looks. I really don't. So, yeah, I think that's where I would go.
Okay, yeah. We'll start with the Alice in Wonderland one. It's been so long since I saw Alice in Wonderland, and there was like a time in college where it was like people would get stoned and watch Alice in Wonderland, and I got stoned enough, but I never watched Alice in Wonderland with them. So it's been so long where it's like they do some interesting reference things in there with like the size scale like shrinking and getting giant size, and then there's the one room that has like the dinner table, which I guess is a big Alice in Wonderland thing, but that level sucks ass. Like it's just a bad place to be. Like
it's not a good way to start off the game. Like in my opinion, like you want to start with something that's really going to grab people. And I mean, even at that time, like Alice in Wonderland, it was one of my favorites when I was little, but like it's an older movie, right? Like you might want to start with something that's a little more up to date if you're gonna be grabbing the kids, capital T.
I think the
kids.
I think if you wanted to start with like a heat check to really just be like, check out, what of the Disney worlds does lend itself to like something really fucking crazy. Alice in Wonderland might be the one, or Fantasia, which also is like, there's stuff from Fantasia in this game. Fantasia's even older, I think. And that's,
I believe so.
That's another one. Like I haven't seen Fantasia since I was like less than 10 years old. So I had to look, I was looking through the bosses and I was like, oh, that thing at the end or like near the end is from Fantasia. Okay. That makes sense. But yeah, the Alice in Wonderland world, they given another shot at it with modern technology, they'd make a much better level. I'm pretty confident in that. The Hollow Bastion is cool. It's huge. It's like a proper, when we say worlds with like, even the ones that I like Monstro and Agrabah, I like those worlds, but it's like 5 screens in each of those.
Yeah.
Or in the case of Peter Pan,
world.
Yeah, we're really being generous with they say world, so I say world, but it's a few screens. The Hollow Bastion's like a proper RPG dungeon, like the only one in this game, and it takes a while, and there's a lot of there's puzzles to solve and backtracking, and there's like secrets and optional, unlocking these weird elevators to go check out weird places in the castle. Like, I think I agree with you that as a video game level, it's almost by default my favorite one, because it's the only one where I'm moving through place to place and it's got these weird sewers and there's a whole lot going on in there. So I agree with you. That place is good. And the music, again, cannot overstate how great the Hollow Bastion music is.
If I would have done anything differently or would have liked to see anything differently in Hollow Bastion, it probably would have been to get the Beauty and the Beast theming in there even more.
Yeah, agreed.
Because there's, I mean, it's there, but it's not as prominent as it is in most of the other worlds. Like when you go into, the Peter Pan world, which I guess is just London, but when you go into the Peter Pan world, there is a lot of, it actually goes along with what the movie shows you. So in different places, and you spend a lot of the time on a pirate ship, like you go to Big Ben. Like this is in Hollow Bastion, it's a big castle, and Belle's there, and also there's a Rose, but that's kind of it. Like it doesn't go too much into the rest of the story. So
yeah, the Beast
just a personal preference.
The Beast is there and is a part of your party for a while, and by far the best party member. Like the Beast fucks the Heartless up.
He's a beast.
Yeah.
As
he
the
lives
name
up to the
suggests.
name. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree though. He's what's weird about some of these is like for some of the Disney levels, it's like you're playing a kind of version of the movie. Like the Aladdin level, like kind of mirrors the movie if you squint a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas like the Beast one, he's there because they kidnapped Belle, and it has nothing to do with the movie. There's no like, talking lamps or anything like that. It's just kind of like, oh, you know the Beast, and you know that he wants to save Belle, and that's about it. And it's vaguely like, there's shelves and books and shit in both of the locations.
Yeah.
So sure. I've heard that later Kingdom Hearts games kind of just turn the levels into more like summaries of the movies. Like you play through like a very abridged version of that.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Maybe not in all of them, but I think it does become more common for sure.
Common. Do you prefer that? Like, do you prefer to play through like a quick version of movie stuff, or do you want them to try something a little different?
So I'm not opposed to them doing the kind of summary. It's when they do it more than once. So like if there's an Aladdin level in there, it's probably going to be the same thing each time. And with some differences, of course, but like, I really don't need to play through that multiple times. Like I've already played through this level and I've played through the Aladdin games on the other systems.
Oh, right.
So,
yeah.
I don't necessarily need that. I think what I want is this sounds terrible. I think I just want more fan service. Like, show me the things that are in the movie, make me go, oh yeah, I remember that. But you don't necessarily need to have me play through the whole story, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And like, I think that's what like the Alice in Wonderland level in here at least had a couple things where it's like you got that dinner table and you're shrinking down to a tiny size and
there's the
like
doorknob. Sick.
Yep.
It says drink me.
It's my favorite doorknob in all of fiction. And then you have like in here the Monstro level I like because I'm a new like Peter Pan freak, Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Pinocchio freak, because I played Lies of P and then I read the novel Pinocchio and I was like, I fucking love this story. And I'm like, I'm just a Pinocchio guy now, I guess. So that
He was too hard for me, unfortunately. I got like halfway through and then I got to the guy who you fight, like the big robot version of him, and then the other, and I could not get past that. So I'm a fake.
It's a tough game. It does have difficulty levels if you want.
Oh, does it?
See it through. Yeah, they added that in a patch.
Okay.
So maybe not.
Yeah, I think I might have played before that. So maybe I'll go back to that and be like, be gentle with me.
Yeah. So I like the Monstro level because I just like Pinocchio. And then I was going through the Disney levels. I looked at a list of them. I was trying to pull out like, can we do top 3? Like, can we do my favorite 3? I don't think there's 3 that I like enough to do a top 3. But it's like, so it gets like in the Little Mermaid level, I like the music and it's kind of neat. You got the little crab guy and stuff like that. I hate that as a video game level, so not going to be in my top 3. There's always something.
Flight and like swimming mechanics are not very good. It's a cool idea, but the controls for those are just infuriating.
And again, just full of Heartless fucking everywhere you go, and you're just constantly backtracking through all those things. They at least, we talked about signposting, they at least just paint arrows on the wall to point you to the
they do,
to the throne room. So that's nice of them. And I liked flying around London at the end of the Peter Pan level. That was nice.
Yeah.
I don't like being in that ship because the camera's dog shit in
the camera
spaces
is dog
in this
shit.
game.
Yes. It's not. It is not refined, I would say.
Yeah. So, any other Disney levels, or I guess if you like the last level or any other levels that stuck out?
Yeah, the other one that I always kind of look forward to is the Halloween Town level. It's partially because I just really like Nightmare Before Christmas, but also I think it works, and I like the costumes that they give them in that level.
Oh yeah, they're so good. Yeah. That's really the only thing besides the music that I like in the Little Mermaid one is like
that
Goofy turns into a turtle.
Crabs, yes.
Yeah. Donald turns into like a little squid guy.
Yeah.
And then they get these awesome outfits in the Halloween Town level.
Yeah.
That it's like
Donald's a mummy, and I think Goofy's like a Frankenstein monster, and
it's very good.
Yeah.
That's another one where it's like, I like the theming a lot. I like the costumes. I like the music. I think the integration of the characters, and like Halloween Town actually has like a little bit of its own story.
Yeah.
Where like they're trying to create a heart, and like a capital H heart. in there, and like the kids are stealing it. And then it's like I go through and I'm like, well, Halloween Town is 3 screens, and you're constantly crisscrossing between them and fighting all the Heartless every time you do, because they always
That
respawn.
is true.
And I hate the final boss in that.
Is the final boss is the...
It's the big one where it's like you have this like big central like thing with like walks going up to like that house, and then
right, and it just
like
has
these
like
globules
blobs
around, and you gotta and they're always shooting at you, and you gotta go fight those little
that's not, I will admit, that's not great.
not great. It's really hit and miss with the boss fights. Like they're cool, but I don't like doing a lot of them.
That's fair. Better in concept than they are in practice, perhaps.
Yeah, for sure. Ursula was another one, whereas like I can see would have been great. I hate doing this though. But yeah, they're definitely not all winners. So as you go through the Disney worlds, for a while, you really have no idea what's happening, except the princess seems to like disappear in all of them, no matter what you do. I think Alice, you do this thing to free Alice from like this trial at the beginning, this sham trial. And then she just gets kidnapped. She's just gone. And so you're like, all right, I guess I'll leave here. And then as you go, Agrabah, Jasmine gets kidnapped. As you go, you start losing princesses, and you find out, here's the point where I could throw you a real grenade and be like, hey, Leah, explain the plot, please. But generally, I
mean, I can try, but I don't know that it would go too well.
Help me out. I'll kind of, for people who didn't play or people who need a refresher, the plot generally is Maleficent has kind of poisoned Riku's mind to work for her to kidnap these princesses, because you need 7 princesses' hearts to open the door to Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
Kingdom Hearts being the source of all of the darkness and the source. But
also maybe the light.
Right. We find out at the end it is definitely light. Yep. Kingdom Hearts is also all of the worlds have their own heart, capital H heart. And that's what happens when the worlds get destroyed. Their hearts get taken. And Kingdom Hearts is the heart of everything, if I understand right. So Maleficent wants to open that up using Riku.
Yeah, so my biggest problem with the concept of Kingdom Hearts, the game, was that I don't think I completely ever really understood what Kingdom Hearts, the thing, is.
Yes.
Like, it's just kind of this nebulous, like, I don't know if it's supposed to be its own world, or if it's just a concept, or if it's like a vibe. Like, what is Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah.
And I think they leave that ambiguous. I'm going to be generous and say that they leave that ambiguous on purpose, so that they can make it fit whatever they need it to be in any particular title. And then Mickey comes out, and it's like, yo.
Yeah. I've been in here the whole time. You can really tell that they knew they were going to make a sequel, or they at least planned on making one, because this game ends with tons of unanswered questions and new plot lines to follow.
If you get, and I would say maybe just look this up. Don't be a me. Just look this up on YouTube. But if you get 100% in the game, essentially what you get is another cutscene that shows the 3 of them plus Pluto kind of hanging out and walking around, and then you find a thing, and it's like, oh look, this is what Mickey left, and it says, come find me. Actually, is that the 100% thing, or is that
no, that's just the ending of Final
I think the 100% thing is where you get like a faux trailer for Kingdom Hearts 2.
Oh, okay. That would be such a dog shit reward for what it would take to get 100% in this game.
And I have done that.
Yeah.
I have done that. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. So the way that this like plot to get the 7 princesses intersects with Sora's story is that Kairi is the 7th princess. And they need her heart.
Now, why the fuck Kairi is the 7th princess? What does she have to do with Disney? No one fucking knows.
Yeah, but we just needed to tie this in.
She is. Yeah. So.
But we have a great big problem, or they have a great big problem. And by they, I mean Ansem, who's manipulating Maleficent to do this. Ansem is behind all of this.
Yep.
At least as far as we know.
Yep.
They probably add more layers to it later on, but
don't not yet. You're not ready. None of us are ready.
No. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. So
you have several spin-offs to get through before this.
Where that intersects with this story is they need Kairi because she's the 7th princess. She has the final heart. But the big problem in all this is Kairi doesn't have a heart. Her heart is inside of Sora. How did her heart get inside of Sora? I have no fucking idea. Do you have an explanation for this?
They kind of explain it, I think. But it's when... I think it's when he's trying to save her when the island gets destroyed, and they kind of phase through each other, and her heart gets transferred into him, which is where babies come from.
Yeah. Canonically, that is the Kingdom Hearts lore explanation for it.
Disney said so.
Yes. So that leads to a really cool moment. I love this moment when Sora, because yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to talk about all these details, but Riku has a hold of a Keyblade that can steal people's hearts or unlock their full potential or some shit like that. What actually happens is it can yoink someone's heart out of them. And Sora does that to himself to give Kairi her heart back.
Stabs himself in the chest.
Stabs himself in the chest. Very PG version of a guy stabbing himself in the chest with a giant key, but yanks his heart out, gives it back to Kairi. And this section was really like, I would hesitate to call it fun, but really interesting when you're playing as a Heartless and just kind of waddling around, making the little Heartless sound
because there's very
effects.
little you can do. So you just kind of have to find your way around. And it's I don't know. It's unique. I'll give it that. I don't think that I had seen anything particularly similar to that in any other game up to that point.
Yeah. Now the problem with this is the Hollow Bastion is really fucking big, and it's another one of those times where they just set you loose. You're a Heartless. You can't really fight anything. I don't even remember if the things are hostile to you when you're a Heartless.
I think so. But
there's not much you can do.
You're right. You can't fight. I don't even think you can jump. Maybe you can jump. Yeah, maybe that's the only thing you can do.
Yeah, but you have to find your way down to like the bottom room where you first fought Riku there. And it's like, they don't really give you an idea of where you're supposed to be going here. You're just kind of like, I'm a Heartless now, and I have the whole castle open to me. So I checked a guide and they were like, just jump off the side, fall down to the bottom and go back to that opening room where you fought Riku. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll do that.
Yep.
Another Kingdom Hearts thing that I just had to watch this and be like, okay, this is a thing. Kairi recognizes Sora in the Heartless form. And by doing that and giving him a hug, she restores him back to being a human. Does this mean that Sora doesn't have a heart? Is he a Heartless or a nobody or something of that nature?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anything.
Well, fair enough.
This will come back.
I think I wrote in my notes, it will be a thing, I'm sure, later on. This is one of those things that like, I'm glad that you said earlier that like they do explain things in a sufficient manner later on, no matter how wild the plot threads get. Because this is one of those things where I was like, are they just hand waving away to bring him back? And it's like the power of friendship turns him back into a human.
I mean, yes, but also no. They might have been doing that at the time, but like it's, you'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Kingdom Hearts is very much a game like don't ask questions that you don't want to hear the full answer to type of deal.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I will pull out the laser pointer. Don't make me pull out the laser pointer.
So this ties in with this big whole story about the power of friendship and the goodness in everyone's heart. I think it's like the light in Kairi's heart that is like so potent that it brings Sora back.
Well, that's the whole thing with the princesses, right? Is that the reason that they are being kidnapped for this Kingdom Hearts thing is that they're all super pure and they all have these glowing hearts and whatever. I don't know. Just pure ladies, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose so. In a classic Disney storytelling tradition. Yep. And so while that stuff is happening, you've had this storyline throughout the game that I kind of like. It's very simple, and the entirety of this storyline is like 4 cutscenes. But when you got split up at the beginning, Sora and Riku got split up at the beginning, Sora quickly found these new friends, Donald and Goofy. And Riku seems like he's been by himself, and he found Maleficent. And she gaslights him into thinking that Sora doesn't need him and doesn't care for him anymore. And as, thinking back, again, if I had played this when I was 13, 14, and then also keeping in mind that these are literally teenagers in here, I think this is actually a pretty good storyline to put at the focus of pitting these characters against each other, because there are things that suck worse, but not much sucks worse when you're a teenager than the idea that your friends are going to find new friends and abandon you. And that's a real big part of this story.
Yes. That's kind of Riku's whole motivation, right? Is that Sora doesn't give a shit about him anymore because he's got his new friends and they're hanging out and looking for Kairi. And Kairi, there was also some rivalry there at the beginning because, Kairi likes Sora and maybe doesn't like Riku as much as she likes Sora.
Right.
And that's already under Riku's skin. So this whole thing is just another step towards, well, nobody likes me. I might as well go listen to Linkin Park in my room and darkness. So I could definitely see that happening.
I was just thinking if they had a Linkin Park song instead of Simple and Clean, it would have been extremely the year 2002.
It really would have. It was like the last thing that they needed to do, and they had the 2 songs, and they're like, which one should it be?
Yeah. We'll go with the pop song, I guess.
Yep, there's a whole different timeline where Linkin Park.
Nomura doing the Wesley Snipes with the gun crying meme, about to cut the Linkin Park song from Kingdom Hearts. But I like the storyline, simple as it is, and I think if you were to watch they do on YouTube, like they'll just put together all the cutscenes from a game and be like Kingdom Hearts the movie. The stuff with Sora and Riku is such a minor part of it, but I think that it sets up this nice confrontation and this nice, very, very realistic way to turn these 2 characters or turn one character against the other one. Cause Sora never gives up. Cause Sora's just the purest of heart guy. But eventually Riku comes around after he realizes that he's been played. But this is where it starts to get Kingdom Hearts. There's a point in the game where Riku stops being Riku. And he starts being Ansem in Riku's body, or Ansem that looks like Riku.
So Ansem is like 4 different characters. And you haven't even really gotten into most of the Organization 13 stuff yet, I don't think.
It's not in this game at all. Yeah. Unless they are, and they're just not named that.
No, I don't think so. I think you'll start seeing Organization 13 proper in Chain of Memories. But they are a bigger thing in Kingdom Hearts 2. But I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say that, Ansem's involved with that. So... Yeah, I'm trying to remember what happens in 1 and what doesn't happen until later because I don't want to spoil anything else. But suffice it to say, I think that Ansem has a lot of power that is beyond anything that any of the other villains in this game have. and that's kind of how he gets to where he is, because he can take over. He has some degree of control over darkness and nobodies that mean that he can kind of do not exactly whatever he wants, but more so than I think you would want out of your bad guy that you're facing. So yeah, he is able to, I think that the reason he is able to get into Riku's heart, a capital H heart, is that Riku still has, like, even when he is reconciled with Sora and, you know, is kind of leaning towards the good side, he still has this darkness in his heart that Ansem is then able to exploit. So
right.
Yeah.
And Ansem learned about that stuff. He was like researching, like, I don't know if he discovered the Heartless, but like his logs are all about him learning about them and experimenting and stuff like that. And his belief is that at the heart of every human is darkness, and that the darkness can spread. It can infect. This is, you know, I'm on board so far. This all makes sense within real life as well.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that.
Again,
and so,
living in the US in 2026.
Darkness is spreading. Yeah. So he takes advantage of that darkness in Riku's heart to manipulate him. And maybe manipulating Maleficent the same way, because her heart is mostly darkness at this point. If he's got some dominion over it, then he can do that. So he created the Heartless. That's the next bullet point in my notes. Because he was experimenting on hearts, trying to isolate the darkness. And then the Heartless multiply, and they go after living subjects with hearts, and they just kind of, they're a force of destruction for everything like that.
Kind of like zombies.
Yeah.
When you think
hearts,
about it.
Brains, capital B brains. Yeah.
Yes.
And so his whole goal, he wants to get into Kingdom Hearts because, to me, in my head, the easy way to explain Kingdom Hearts, which might not be 100% accurate, but it makes enough sense to me to make sense of the rest of the story, is that Kingdom Hearts is like the source of everything. And so if it's the source of the darkness, Ansem he sees it as a way to more power, I guess. Yeah. And so he's like, okay, Riku, you're you know, tough, strapping young lad. I can take advantage of you to do my dirty work in here. And this like the way that it comes together at the end, where you have these two ideals kind of clashing, like Ansem, who believes that the heart of everything is darkness, and Sora, who always believed but now has words for it, that the heart of everything, at the heart of everything, is light. They clash. This made me laugh. There's a line that Sora says where he says, I've learned inside every heart there's a light that never goes out. And I'm a big fan of that song by the Smiths. There is a light that never goes out. And that made me laugh quite a bit. But that's the competing ideology at the end.
Yeah.
Again, very simple, but within all this weirdness of like the princesses and the hearts and the darkness and all of that stuff, what is the basis of humanity really? Are we inherently evil, or are we inherently good? And one side just kind of wins out in some people.
Yep. And I think that's maybe really what they are saying Kingdom Hearts is that it's not good or bad. It's whoever is kind of controlling it and using it that kind of gives it its alignment, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. I would wonder, cause so like at the end, when you beat Ansem, he does this like desperation move where he opens the door to Kingdom Hearts, and he's like, let the darkness come and power me up so I can kill these teenagers and this fucking duck. But instead of darkness coming out,
have to kill Donald. Donald's doing fine on his own.
Yeah, that's true. Instead of darkness coming out like he expects, light comes out and basically like incinerates him in the power of the light. So that makes me wonder, is either Sora's right that light is the basis of everything and there is also darkness that can corrupt, or Kingdom Hearts responds to somebody. Like if there's two people trying to take advantage of it's going to pick something.
It's going to see who's the stronger person. Also, is that when Mickey comes out of Kingdom Hearts? Because
that's when the door opens, and after the light comes out and burns up Ansem, you like open the door and it's like, Mickey's in there? Like,
yep.
I kind of forgot about Mickey.
Oh shit, it's Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
The most excited I have ever been to see Mickey Mouse
True.
ever. Yeah. We have not ranked Mickey Mouse on character issues. We have ranked King Mickey specifically.
Yes. I was going to say.
Because he's different.
King Mickey, canonically a Keyblade master. Because
canonically
he's got his own...
fucking badass. He will come back later on.
And he'll fuck shit up. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, there was a line early in Kingdom Hearts 1 where they're like, there can only be one Keyblade master. And either they retconned that or someone was just lying.
Oh, they super retconned that, I think. Or it could just be that, I don't think it was in universe that there was only one Keyblade master. Or maybe it was at the time, but yeah, I think that was a big old retcon because there's definitely more than one.
There's 3 in this game, so
yeah. And it there's a whole Keyblade war in the past in the lore, and there's a lot. It's a lot. So
I was reading about one of the prequel games, Dream Drop Distance, or is that a prequel? One of them, 358 over 2 days.
358 over 2 days.
358 over 2 days.
Yeah. And that one, yes, is a prequel.
Okay.
Oh, there's also the PSP one. Trying to remember what the name of it is, but I can't. And that's also a prequel.
Okay. I remember. I was like, I'm just gonna take a quick peek. Because I was looking through them and being like, because I know they're not in a linear fashion through the story. So I was like, I'll take a quick peek at like, oh, it's a prequel. It probably has something to do with Ansem and maybe Mickey Mouse. And I read the short little plot setup, and it was like 5 characters I've never heard of doing something I've never heard of, trying to find something I've never heard of.
That might be the PSP one, actually.
Yeah,
Did have like Aqua and Terra and
yes.
That's the PSP one. Which I really like, actually, and it's bothering me that I can't think of the name.
That was it was just funny for me to be like,
Birth by Sleep, that's it. Yeah.
Birth by Sleep. Okay. Yeah, I was like, I'm excited to maybe like see Ansem's backstory, because I think Ansem's an interesting character. Nope, just maybe a different prequel. So anyway.
There's just a lot of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. So there's that moment at the end when Sora finds the strength, his strength in his friends, the strength of the light to defeat Ansem. The final boss of this game, all the different Ansem phases, starting on the Destiny Island, going all the way through all this stuff, really long and super, super difficult. I don't like most of this. Cool scale in like the last part where you're flying around, but
yeah, I agree with you there. I think that there's a difficulty curve that is almost a cliff on Ansem. And it starts with it starts on the Destiny Islands when he has like that darkness guard that like you can't hit him for half the time, because every time you try, that thing pops up in front of him and just blocks it. And that always is a little tough for me. I mean, if you're a freak and have done a lot of leveling and side quests and shit, then it's not as bad. But if you are a normal person playing the game in a normal way, then it's pretty rough.
It's tough. There's a couple attacks where like the Guardian, I think it's called, will like possess you. Yeah. And I could not dodge it. Like not a single time did I avoid that attack. There's also like an insane arena in there. There's a part, the way I remember, it's like there's a keyhole thing on the wall. And as you fight through these waves in this arena, parts of the keyhole lock fall away. Yeah. And you got to go through, and it's so fucking difficult. A spike for sure. But the last part where you're flying around, and the other part where you're like one by one, maybe optionally going through the Disney worlds, like revisiting them for like a short little thing.
not sure that is optional. Maybe you don't have to do all of them, but I think you have to do at least a couple in order to.
I think I read that
proceed.
if you close the keyhole in like the earlier part in there, then you don't have to do them.
Okay.
And if you didn't, then you do have to do them. So
Gotcha.
There are certain ones where like the keyhole closing doesn't happen automatically. So
yeah, you have to go back.
Maybe they're easy to miss, but yeah, you do that stuff. The final boss is really tough. It's also just a really goofy design of like,
He's a ship.
It's like a ship with like a giant demon head on the front of it for some of it. And
this is where you see the true Final Fantasy. This is this is the company that made a boss that was a tree. Yeah. Like, yep. I get it.
Yep. We see the roots for sure. Nomura came up designing characters for Final Fantasy. So yeah.
Sure did.
And then the ending. So we've established that Sora gets his power from his friends. He doesn't need the Keyblade, but he will gladly use it. And then they defeat Ansem. And then the ending is kind of a weird downer, like unresolved ending because they defeat Ansem. They're trying to shut the door to Kingdom Hearts to prevent the darkness from getting out. Mickey is inside, but he's fine. You're just like, yeah, Mickey's fine. Leave him with all the darkness. He'll be okay.
Yeah, no, he's cool.
Yeah,
he'll be back.
He's basically God. They're trying to close the door. Sora can't do it by himself because it's a comically large door.
Yep.
Riku shows up to help, and you're like, all right, Riku's back on our side. Riku goes to the inside of the room and pulls the door, and it's like, dude, just go to the outside and push. You don't have to be in there with all that stuff, but he doesn't.
He's still not over Kairi, I think is what we're looking at here. It's like, we're all friends, but...
Is this an angsty teen move where he's locking himself in his room at the end of this game?
Yeah. Yep.
So you get the door shut. Riku's somewhere. You don't know where Riku is now. And then you have this supposed reunion with Kairi where she falls away like from an embrace with Sora at the end. And this is the moment where they drop Simple and Clean, where like you're not getting the resolution to their story. And it's so fucking goofy that this is the timing. Like, let this scene play out for 30 more seconds and then drop Simple and Clean when the credits start. Like that would have made a whole lot more sense to me.
I don't know.
It's like suddenly
like,
it's time to dance.
this game is ridiculous, and I think that it fits that particular mic drop is ridiculous as well.
It is just as ridiculous as anything else that's happened, but
I'm saying
tonally it's really weird at the end there. So what I think is happening is they kind of talked about like, if you seal all these keyholes, if you seal up the door to Kingdom Hearts, all the worlds that were taken by the Heartless will like come back, but we won't be able to visit them anymore. Like this overlapping of worlds is going to go away. So no more visiting the Disney worlds until the next Kingdom Hearts game, probably.
Well, yeah.
No
more air quotes.
I'm guessing that this is, I mean, something that continues, but like, I'm guessing that's what happened with Kairi. Like she got lost in this like separating of worlds or something like that.
I think that's the implication. Yeah.
Okay. And then the ending cutscene, they're walking in a field with Donald and Goofy, and Pluto shows up and has a letter from Mickey giving them an idea of what to do. So they're going to set out to find Riku and Kairi, just like we started at the beginning of this game. We did a whole lot of stuff to end up at the same fork in the road.
I wonder, because I will say only this about the next game in the series, which is we've mentioned before, is Chain of Memories. It starts right where Kingdom Hearts 1 leaves off.
Okay. Cool.
And it goes places from there, obviously, but that is like literally the first scene in Chain of Memories. So I wonder how. If people skipped straight to Kingdom Hearts 2, I feel like they would have been so confused.
I've heard that. I've heard because, not a given that everyone who had a PlayStation 2 would have a Game Boy Advance also.
Yeah.
So I had heard that a lot of people bought Kingdom Hearts 2 and they're like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, the whole first couple of hours of Kingdom Hearts 2 depend on you knowing what happened in Chain of Memories to actually have it make sense.
Yeah.
I know that tons of people must have played it that way, but like it's wild that they had the balls to do that.
Right.
Like just to say, "Oh, you didn't play our weird spin-off game that's a card battler on the GBA?
On the Game Boy? Yeah.
All right, well, cool. Fuck you. Here's Kingdom Hearts 2.
Good luck finding your feeding. Feeding is not a word. That's a 2.5 hour into a podcast word. But yeah, kind of wrapping it back to that ultimate message of the power of friendship and the ultimate thing that gives Sora his power. He thinks throughout the game it's the Keyblade that gives him power. There's a big climactic moment where Riku steals the Keyblade from him. It's kind of hinted that like Riku was supposed to be the one to get the Keyblade, but like,
or at least
Sora,
he thinks he was,
or he was told he was, something like that. But anyway, he's able to take it from him.
Mm-hmm.
Donald and Goofy are like, oh shit, Riku has the Keyblade now. Peace out, Sora.
Yeah, Donald and Goofy are kind of fair weather friends, it seems like.
They are, quote, just following orders. That's their orders from Mickey. Maybe I shouldn't have said it exactly like that, but they do betray the fuck out of Sora just because their orders are to follow the Keyblade Master from Mickey. And so they're like, you know what, Sora, like, we think you're cool, but peace. And they come around pretty quickly, but
of course
you have that section in the Hollow Bastion where Sora just has that shitty wooden sword.
Oh yeah.
And you can't really do anything. And luckily you have the Beast with you who's just like smashing everything to help out. But the resolution of that is that Sora realizes that his power is not from this thing. His power is within, and his power is with the people around him. And I think that that keeps coming up in conjunction with the power of the light and stuff like that. But it's a nice thing to be at the core of all of this. Like that. Yeah, the Keyblade's fucking rad, but I don't need the
only reason
Keyblade.
it does anything is because because of Donald, who's useless, but he's friend.
Yeah. I derive my power from Donald, from my friends. And well, let's see what my power is up to. Oh, he's dead over there in the corner. Yeah.
Listen, I think we've all got that one friend who's just dead in a corner.
The one in the group. Yeah. That if we were an RPG party, they wouldn't be pulling their weight. Yeah. Perhaps it's me. We'll see.
That's what I'm thinking. I was like,
you know what they say?
I'm afraid that it might be me.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know what they say? Like they're like, if you're wondering who the weird one in the friend group is, it's probably you. So maybe it is me. Maybe I would be the one that's not healing people when I should be. So
I wouldn't just be casting fireballs at shit. Like, oh, you need healing? I don't know. Take care of yourself. I'm busy.
Yeah, you need healing? Sorry, I used all my MP 5 minutes ago. I just started blasting. Yeah.
You didn't give me any potions. What do you want me to do?
Yeah. Oh, well, you did give me potions. I used those an hour ago when we didn't need them. Yeah. Well, Leah, this has been a lot of fun going through Kingdom Hearts with you, especially just the spoiler section, just kind of laughing our way through it, even though there are some genuine moments in this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think there's a balance there, right? Like, it's absurd, but like, there's a really good core to it, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what makes it work, is if this game were just as simple as the power of friendship, without all the surrounding stuff, I'm not sure it would have worked quite as well. And I was thinking about, like, legitimately thinking about, do you need to do all of this to get to this message? And like, maybe you don't need to do all of this, but it does help to have this like chaos, and then at the very center of it, have something like really, really grounded to hold on to. And the power of friendship, the power of community, and trying to see the goodness in people will never stop being important. I keep landing on that in a lot of discussions on the show here. So that's what Kingdom Hearts is all about, underneath all the wacky shit. So it's been fun going through it with you. I'm losing the ability to talk. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm glad this came up in the rotation.
Yeah, absolutely. And there will be more Kingdom Hearts games in the future of Tales from the Backlog. So something to look forward to for everyone who's enjoyed this discussion. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, at the end of the show, I will remind everyone to check out the Character Issues podcast, check out the Kane and Rince podcast, links down in the show notes, all kinds of video game discussion, all worth your time. And for everyone who's still here at the end, you're my hero, and Sora would be proud of you. Thank you for being here. And yeah, tune in next week for the next game to come out of the backlog.
You should listen to the Character Issues podcast. It's a scientific podcast where me, Brian Edwards, your host du jour, and my co-hosts, Leah Haydu.
Everyone loves Blitzball. I hate Blitzball. Fuck Blitzball.
And Rich Davison.
Are you implying that he intentionally tried to run over his daughter and then sort of bloviated a journey around Silent Hill to make sure that she could bleed out in the process?
Work towards building a list of the greatest video game characters of all time. Every character will be ranked. Every character shall be ranked. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you find your podcast. Character Issues is available for download. So, if you're interested in the hard-nosed science and definitely not a comedy podcast hosted by a couple of numbskulls, you should check out the Character Issues podcast because, let's face it, it's better if you do.
Hey all, this is Doug from Core Gaming, one of, if not the biggest independently owned retro and modern game stores in New England and nationwide at coregamingnh.com. We have over 40,000 items in stock ranging from Atari to Switch 2 and everything in between, as well as manuals, empty boxes, old magazines like Nintendo Power, trading cards, dice, collectibles, 2,000 Funko Pops, and more. We've been around for about 15 years and we're opening our third physical location soon. And because you've made the same smart choice as me, listening to Dave on Tales from the Backlog, you can use the coupon code BACKLOG and to get 10% off any purchase of any item anytime at coregamingnh, like New Hampshire.com. Thanks for listening to me talk about my favorite store, and now you can get back to listening to podcasts about my favorite thing, video games.